makes me deep. Your heart is my temple. Your tears rinse my feet. I walk out, I'm able to carry your peace. It reminds me of a song that I heard long ago. Maybe I've always known that you were right there. A simple melody playing over and over in my dreams. Don't cry no more, my dear. Don't you cry no more. I'll be waiting here, my dear. I'll be at your door. Do you hear me knocking? Do you hear my drum to draw you from your fortress that's been overcome? 'Cause you've been hiding in the shadows of the rubble and debris, and you're still living through a battle that's been done for many weeks. But listen for the sounds of restoration coming from the streets. Let it remind you you're still alive. Yeah, there's still life up in them bones. Don't dwell on the casualties. For your heart was meant to roam, so watch the company you keep. They will drag you under where the dead are found. Don't give in to slumber, wrestle through the higher ground. 'Cause you've been stranded in the valley of the hopeless and the dead, and you're still haunted by the ghosts who left you stuck there where you stand. But may these words bring revelation, lifting you up out this wretched land. Yeah, let it remind you you're still alive. Hey.
What's up, everybody? We are live. I'm here in the building. Yeah, we're here Tuesday night. A lot of stuff going on. I mean, Iran hit some U.S. targets. We got Dave Chappelle getting canceled. We got a bunch of stuff to talk about. We're gonna get at it. You're watching Young Lion TV. Here we go.
Young lion, everywhere I look, they're dying. Everywhere I look, they're dying. Young lion, everywhere I look, they're dying. Everywhere I look, they're dying. Young lion, won't you get up and start fighting? Everywhere I look, they're hiding.
Yeah. You're watching Young Lion TV Tuesday night. We're in the building. We're in the Lion's Den. We're going to talk about some stuff. I'm here with the short haircut this evening, and we're going to talk about that as well. But yeah, appreciate you guys for tuning in. We're in the building. My name is Jamie. I'm one of the Young Lions, and we're going to talk about some stuff tonight. I got here with me tonight my brother-in-law. He is the half black, half Indian with the Spanish last name, Mr. James Garcia.
Nice sweater.
Yes, sir.
You're looking very friendly.
He's looking like a safe Negro tonight. Safe Negro James over there.
Oh my God.
And of course, we got the coolest Asian. And he's looking very unsafe.
Right.
Hide your daughters. Mr. Chang Sam-un in the building.
Maybe back in the day, JB.
Gotta show off the tattoos.
Simone is rocking a jersey that is a funny story as well, because he got this jersey when we were in the airport in Johannesburg, was it?
Joburg, yep.
Yeah. We're flying to Durban. And so we stopped. We all were looking in this little sports shop for jerseys, and Jake bought a South African soccer team jersey.
The Pirates. Orlando Pirates.
Which we ended up, driving right by the stadium. Nice. So, Jake was rapping.
They're called the Orlando Pirates?
They're called the Orlando Pirates.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're close to Soweto when we drove to Soweto.
Well, they said that they played in Durban too.
That's right. They're like one of the biggest teams in South Africa as far as soccer is.
And bro, when I tell you that the stadium is like double, maybe even triple the size of Lincoln Financial. You ever seen?
Yeah.
You ever seen
the
Eagles Stadium?
Yeah, I've been in, but
it's like triple the size.
People don't understand
joking you.
How big soccer is in other countries.
Yeah.
But so we were in the airport, and Jake is buying. Jake follows soccer way more than any of us. Especially not Moon. So Moon finds himself like, oh, I'm gonna get a South African jersey too
for Noah.
Yeah. So he comes walking out of the thing, and he's like showing Jake the jersey, and
like,
he's like,
this jersey is cool.
He's like, yeah, that is a nice
South
jersey.
African color. Yeah. This is the green color, just like the Springboks.
Yes.
The rugby team.
But it's not. It's
not. It's a Premier League.
Yeah.
Liverpool.
Yeah.
So I showed Jake. Jake was like, "Oh, what jersey did you get for Noah?" So I opened it up, and he was like, "Dude, that's Liverpool, right?" I'm like, "Oh my goodness."
Yeah. So that is
just like a man.
That is Simone for you. But I gotta also shout out my mom, who is in here producing for us this evening, Miss Angeli Lopez. And I also got to give a shout out to the Montanez family / Lopez family / my family that lost one of the matriarchs. Your cousin, Tatita, passed away last week, and we went to the viewing this weekend. So I just want to give a shout out to the family. I know y'all going through a lot. Our prayers are with you and all that stuff. It's a tough time. And I've been through it. So, our prayers are with you guys. But along the lines of the Simone getting the wrong jersey, let's talk about my haircut. So on Friday, Simone comes over to cut some heads, right? He's like, yeah, I'm going to come over and do some haircuts. And usually Jake...
Hanging out.
Yeah.
Hanging out.
and my normal barber is Jake. Jake always cuts my hair. You know, I get my nice long 2-hour haircut from Jake. And but Simone was like, well, I'm here, I might as well just cut you. And I'm thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, because Jake's dealing with the wife situation. So I'm like, you know what, let me just get touched up by Moon. So I'm sitting in the chair and he's like, yo, what does Jake usually use on the top? And I'm like, oh, Jake uses a 6 on the top. I know this because me and Jake have like gone back and forth. Do we do a 6? Do we do a 7? And we the 6 works perfect for the length of the top of my hair when I get a haircut. And so I'm sitting in the chair. Mo's just cutting away. We laughing, joking, having conversations. Yeah. So then the haircut's over, and everybody's like, "It's kind of short."
Bum, 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 bum.
And I get up. I'm like, "Wait, let me see." My mom's hitting buttons over there.
And he talking about your head. I just hit the button by mistake.
So I get up, I look in the mirror. I'm like, bro, it's way shorter than I always get it cut. And he's like, yeah, you said a 6 on the top. I say, yeah, a 6. And he shows me the clippers, and he takes out a 2, but the
Which
2 is a 6 millimeter. So he confused the numbers and cut my hair too short.
It looks good.
So, yeah,
I'm not mad at it, but
it looks good.
it's just everybody I see.
To be fair, I was a little lit. Jess came over, my lovely lady. She came over with some rum and coke, and we were hanging out. I think I was 2 drinks in. I made the first one a little heavy, and Jamie was the 4th head that I was cutting.
Yeah.
Hey, you see, this is the last time Simone cut my hair. Look what happened.
Yeah, Jeffrey said that's the difference between a good haircut and a bad haircut. 2 weeks. Yeah. Shout out to Emma. Shout out to all the people in the chat. Paul in the chat, he said, "What's up, fam? Paul will see you this weekend at the men's retreat." Shout out to Theris. Shout out to Lisa. And I saw Jess in there as well. Jess, yeah, I'm gonna blame it your man.
Blame it on Jess. Blame it on Jess.
What's up, people?
I don't really care. You know me, like I don't care.
Yeah.
But of course, everybody I see has something to say. Like, oh, you cut your hair? Oh, you cut your hair off. And Jake, remember Jake's face last night? Jake at rehearsal last night was like, what? Because I didn't tell him I won't cut my hair.
He's like, whoever cut that hair, man, I would have beat.
But you know he's throwing shots. He was like, hey, I see you struggled with his fade too on the side.
That's like barber talk.
Yeah. But listen, I don't care. And on top of that, it's like I know how my whole life barbers have struggled with cutting my hair.
Yeah.
Your hair does like it was barber talk yesterday.
Yeah.
The way it grows, dude,
Yeah.
in the back it goes this way and then that way and then that way.
And then the color
tough.
of my hair is a weird color, so it doesn't like it's harder to get the fade looking as
Blend
tight
it,
yeah.
with as darker hair. Theris said it looks good. Don't lie to that man. It's like, it looks fine. It looks fine. But that's why I'm not wearing a hat today, because I had to tell the story, so I had to show the hair.
You never cared about the way you looked anyway.
No, I mean I really don't care.
It looks good.
Just said, hey, don't blame me.
It's all your fault. Your fault.
But speaking of that, everybody who wants to support, make sure you guys, we got a bunch of the Young Lion Patreon members in the chat right now. And I shouted most of you guys out already. So if you want to become a member and support the Young Lion, the Pride of the Young Lions, where we talk about life, culture, politics, relationships. We talk about marriage. We talk about our mistakes as men. We talk about the spells of, the evil powers that be that try to keep us oppressed. We talk about all that stuff. We talk about conspiracies. If you want to support that type of conversation with some grown men, and guys that have been through a lot that also want to change culture, you can go to our Patreon, patreon.com/youngliontv. Sign up for as little as $3 a month. You can become a member and support the Pride, become a part of the Pride. We got people joining all the time. Shout out to the people on the Young Lion, the private group. We got people joining every day. And We appreciate y'all for growing the pride. We want to keep spreading this thing so we can continue to change culture in a lot of ways. And we're going to talk about a little bit of that tonight. But yeah, we appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure you share this video and hit the like button because the algorithm doesn't support us. So we need y'all to do it instead. So hit that like button, hit the share button. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that notification bell, share the video, like the video, all the Rumblers. For some reason, when you guys comment on Rumble, we don't see them in the live stream. I don't know why. I try to get to everybody's comments when I see them, but on Rumble, for some reason, we don't see them in the live streams. But, just keep throwing them comments in because I'm sure they help us, and hit that Rumble button. Other than that, if you want to get some merch, we got the Young Lion merch that you can get on our website, which is
Show them your hoodie. Show them your hoodie.
You're laughing, but you don't put the camera on you.
Okay. But you were showing yours. Huh?
Yeah.
Anyway, here.
Yeah, there you go. That's the hoodie right there. The Young Lion hoodie. I got the T-shirt
It's nice
on.
and warm because she's complaining about how hot
Hot it is.
she got the fan.
Yeah. But you can get the merch on our merch store, and that also just supports and spreads the name of the Young Lions and what we're trying to do. And other than that, we got the men's retreat coming up this weekend. Shout out to everyone who signed up. We're looking forward to that. We're going to have a great time with a bunch of men who want to have some deep conversation and connect and go deeper in a lot of ways. So shout out to all the men that we will see there. And we have a show coming up on November 3rd at Steel City in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania. If you want to come see Jatan live, it's going to be a dope show. It's a coffee house and brewery. And last time we did a show there, that's where we met Joy and Peace.
Yep.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the place where we met them.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a fun show. Come out there and see us live on November 3rd. And yeah, so other than that, man, how's everybody doing, man? How you guys feeling?
Good.
Good?
Doing good.
Everybody's doing good?
Feeling good?
Life is good, even though there's a lot of crazy stuff going on. Have you guys been following all of the turmoil in the Middle East, everything that's been going on? No, that's a no.
Yeah.
I'll take that as a no.
Not no, but kind of. It's like, it's a lot, man.
It's a lot.
It really is a lot.
Yeah.
It's all this, Tim Pool talks about it all the time,
World War III.
World War III.
Yeah.
So
It's either
like,
Civil War or World War III with that guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And for me, it's I'm kind of the same boat. Like I can only take so much. Plus, I started a new chapter in my life, so I really can't spend as much time.
Yeah.
And I'm focusing on training and stuff like that. So it's hard. And sometimes I just can't bombard myself with so much.
So you're saying you don't have no time for conspiracies?
No,
anymore.
not right now.
I lost my conspiracy James partner.
I really want to have a conversation about the people on the other side, because I'm seeing a lot of protests pro-Palestine, like thousands and thousands of people rallying and in all these different countries. Like, I really want to understand and just see
I think,
see that side, because
from what you're hearing.
Yeah.
It's a complex issue. It's not as everyone wants to take a side on it.
Right.
And
definitely complex.
And I don't want to do that. I feel like part of it too is, we live in a time where everybody has a spin on it. Mm-hmm. So I feel like everyone wants you to take their side.
Yeah.
So where do you turn to get unbiased reporting and unbiased?
Doesn't exist.
It's
doesn't exist. You gotta kind of weed your way through.
And I feel like that's why a lot of people want to sit it out, because it's like
But here's the problem with wanting to sit it out is that we're getting pulled in.
Of course,
because
the United States is going to get pulled in any major war like that.
So it's affecting us.
Yeah.
And if you just kind of sit it out, then there's really you can't push back at all.
No, when I say sit out, I don't mean not participate in any way. I mean emotionally detached, because it's just so complex. I get videos sent with me pro against.
Yeah.
I get things popping up on my feed because I'm just trying to learn about the situation. So whenever I look into it, I myself, I don't know what's truth, what's conjecture, what's like a take on it, because I at the same time, we're not from that area, so we can only take a perspective, whether it's our friends speaking about it or it's me watching videos of a ramsacked village of Palestinian with their dead babies too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I mean, if we're gonna say we're believers and we have to have a heart, we can't look at death in that way and not be concerned about it either.
Yeah, there was a story, I think yesterday or the day before, where someone was tweeting about some of their family members that were killed during an airstrike that hit a church, a Christian church, and even speaking out and saying like, we pray for the families that were killed during this strike because it was an Israel strike. It was, so even speaking out and saying that was like, oh, how could you do this? Like, anyone who spoke out against that or just even spoke out and said like, we stand with the families that were lost. And it was like, you're wrong because you're not speaking about, it's like, you can't win.
You can't win.
So a lot of people are kind of like, well, I don't know what to do.
Yeah. And that's what I said. That's what I'm saying. I know what you're saying about we can't help but be involved, but people have chosen to just detach themselves from it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they don't know what to, because when you do the research and you start looking into it and you start, because then all the history, especially if you look anything up on the internet, it's going to throw a bunch of things at you.
Yeah.
So if you look up, so for me, look up Palestine-Israel conflict. It's going to throw videos from today, but it's going to also throw documentaries and perspectives and talking points of how these nations were formed, who gave it to them, who were the people that started certain things. It's going to give you so much that when you start going that route, it's a lot to soak in.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so complex. When as you guys are talking, it just reminds me. It's because like the media, they want you to pick a side.
Yeah.
They, whether it's Fox News or whatever. It reminded me of like that interview that the CNN host, the lady, I don't remember her name, but the lady in the white interviewing Donald Trump, talking about the Ukraine war. Do you support Ukraine? And Trump was like, I just want people to stop dying.
Yeah.
I don't want people to die.
Yeah, she wants them to say something.
Yeah.
They want you to be on one side.
Sure.
Right. Because they know you.
They want you
because
divided.
They know that fact. They know that no matter what stance you take, you lose.
Right.
So
Yeah.
and
I got to get them to say this.
Right. So it's like for you to say, I just don't want people to die, which is the same way I feel about everything that's happening in Israel. Like I just don't think innocent people should be dying.
Right.
Like no matter what the history of that conflict
And children
is.
on top of that.
Yeah, of course, children, like children above anything, are the most innocent and deserve a chance. We played that video of the children that are being indoctrinated into certain ideologies out there, but I'm sure that's happening on both sides. And
But that's the thing is like the media probably won't show that.
Right.
I mean, just a sidebar in terms of perspective, right? You and I have talked about this at length, especially with conservatives and Republicans. They will mention the number on fatherless home in the black community, but they have no plan for repairing that in terms of like plans where, well, what's your plan? You're giving us these stats and we get it,
Right.
But what's your plan?
Yeah.
What plans do you have? You're just throwing numbers at us. You're just throwing stats at us. Cool, we got the number. What's your plan?
Right.
And you know what I'm saying? So it's like it's almost the same thing here when you're telling us this is happening, but then what's your plan? Like what is the plan? Just throwing money at it. What are we doing?
Right.
You know what I mean?
And that's what I think is the issue as well, is that people see that all they want to do is throw money at it.
Right.
And it's like our tax dollars are being, now they're trying to get $100 billion approved to fund what's going on in Ukraine and what's going on in Israel, but also giving $100 million to Gaza, which is going to go to fund Hamas
Hamas, yeah.
most likely. So it's like, what are we doing?
What are we doing? And we can't talk about it.
Yeah.
We can't even ask.
Yeah.
As Americans or as people that are living here, tax-paying citizens, we can't ask why this is happening.
Yeah.
You know, because if we do, then we're against somebody. You know what I mean?
And another thing you're saying, like about the conservatives, and I've noticed this. I brought it up last week too, and the week before when we were talking about how divisive this whole thing is that it's interesting to me to see conservatives now just totally flip on what they say they stand for, which has been, you know, over the last 4 years or so, just the idea of free speech, the idea of you know, being against cancel culture, being against, you know, calling people snowflakes, SJWs. But then as soon as something comes up that goes, that doesn't fit the narrative, they totally flip on that, you know.
Hypocrites, man.
Yeah.
Well, we got to hold them accountable.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Which is why I'm saying it, because it's like, you know, I spoke about Dave Rubin trying to get people canceled, you know, when he's been one of the main voices of people always talking about cancel culture and talking about how people shouldn't be fired for things that they say and free speech, you know. But it's like as soon as someone has something negative to say about Israel, we don't live by that anymore. You know, they need to be silenced. Yeah. Like, wait, I thought that's not how it worked, you know. But I did want to show this. So over the last couple days, Joe Biden came out and he gave a little speech, and then this happened.
I apologize. I have to go to the situation with another issue I have to deal with. Thank you.
Okay, I didn't hear it.
Yeah.
I'm going to play it again. You can't hear that?
No.
Situation
Okay,
what?
I apologize. I have to go to the situation with another issue I have to deal with. Thank you.
You can't hear it because it sounds like he's about to fall asleep on himself.
Oh.
But he said he had to cut his speech short because he had to go to the Situation Room. To I guess he got a notice that Bidenomics. He got a message that something just happened, so he had to go to the Situation Room. So he had to cut his speech short. Okay. So what I think it was, and what people are alluding to, is the Pentagon came out and said that Iran was responsible for attacks on U.S. troops in Iraq and also in Syria. So and I think Iran held these attacks in response to that hospital bombing that has been like a controversy on both sides. There's two narratives going at the same time. You heard me ask Ophir about it. Yeah. You know, but even after that, I posted that clip up on Instagram, and all the comments are, you know, people arguing for against, you know, there's two narratives. Yeah. And everyone wants to believe what they want to believe, you know. So the Pentagon is now holding Iran responsible for these attacks on U.S. So this is further escalating our involvement in the Middle East, because now Iran, responding to what Israel did because they're blaming us for funding Israel, is now attacking U.S. targets. And, you know, it's just things are escalating in the Middle East. And now, you know, you can see, I hear members of Congress talking about retaliating against Iran and going into Iran. It's like, wait, it almost feels like 9/11 again, right? Where it's like, we were told Osama bin Laden was the bad guy. He's in Afghanistan. All of a sudden, we're invading Iraq. You know,
And the guy's in a hole.
yeah, it's like, wait, how did that? Oh, this is what we're doing. Oh, okay, I guess. Well, they're all the same, right? It's like they're all on the same team. So yeah, get them. You know. So there's a lot of people that don't want to be a part of that anymore. Sure. You know, you fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, can't fool me again. Isn't that what George Bush himself said?
Fool me, can't fool me again.
Fool me twice,
And
can't
yet
fool
that
me
guy
again.
makes more sense than this guy.
You're right. But yeah, so let's listen to this news report about what's going on.
Pentagon linking Iran to militia groups targeting U.S. forces, and that those groups are likely to step up their attacks as the war between Israel and Hamas continues. There have already been at least 6 of those attacks on U.S. and coalition forces in just the past week in Syria and Iraq, as well as one intercepted by a U.S. Navy destroyer off the coast of Yemen. Correspondent Kelly Myers live at the White House. Kelly, what are we hearing from the administration?
Well, Nicole, the White House is concerned about this escalating and pointing the finger directly at Iran, saying Iranian fingertips are directly on the uptick in these kind of attacks. The Biden administration also warning that there could be an escalation in these types of attacks over the next coming days. We've already seen this uptick over the last several days, really since President Biden's visit to the region to Israel last week. They started last Tuesday. We saw several drone attacks then. We also saw in Iraq and Syria again Wednesday, the U.S. Navy warship intercepting those missiles off the coast of Yemen, possibly heading towards Israel. And then again in Syria on Monday. The White House saying that this really could be an effort by Iran and Iran-backed proxies to escalate this conflict even further. Here's the White House spokesperson John Kirby about this. Take a listen.
We're deeply concerned about the potential for any significant escalation of these attacks in the days ahead. At the direction of President Biden, the Secretary of Defense has ordered the military to take steps to prepare for this, to ensure that we're postured appropriately, both in terms of being able to defend our forces and respond decisively as needed.
So yeah, things escalating. We're going to make sure we're prepared to posture for this, as he just claimed. And the thing that bothers me is the state that we've gotten to in this country is where you hear the White House come out and make a statement on what they believe is happening. You hear the Pentagon come out and make a statement. But the distrust for these organizations is so high.
Very high.
That I can't even believe what they're saying. It's like they say that, but they could just be using that as an excuse.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
They've done it in the past.
Right.
Hansberry said, Michael Hansberry says, smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
Right. And I think there's always been distrust. I think just now we have technology at our fingertips to disprove it. I think there's always been distrust. And I think for a long time, the men and women who have been sort of challenging these political regimes, whether conservative, Republican, whatever it is, on the idea of war and what's going on around the world. When they start talking about that, the first thing they will do is try to label them a conspiracy theorist, right? In fact, you told me that it was the CIA that pumped that.
They're
that
the ones who
narrative.
created that term.
Right.
Yeah.
And we live in a time now, which is why technology is going to be the next thing they censor, especially social media, because for the first time, people can interact directly with the public without a control of a media, a speaking head in office, someone to sort of write the narrative. Because we've seen it plenty of times when someone put a clip and it's thousands of news reporters saying the same thing over and over again. These things are these are corporate-owned entities.
Yeah.
And it's the first time where the media now have a direct connection. When I say media, I mean guys like us or podcasts or people with an opinion can bring a certain amount of facts and put things together and show the public.
Show clips, show real
clips,
things,
and we can
show
say, hey, no.
inconsistencies,
Right, you could show that. And before, you didn't have access to that. You know what I mean? So
or they wouldn't platform you if you...
They wouldn't.
You can build your own platform now.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's why we have to do stuff like this.
Right.
Because it's the only way certain people who don't have the time, like not everybody has the time to go and look through clips and
Right.
and display things in a certain way where it makes sense, where you can see the ridiculousness of what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
But yeah, this Israel-Palestine thing is very complex, and it's just I see it like causing so much more divisiveness. I see people lashing out. Here's a reporter asking Karine Jean-Pierre about Iran and the funding of Iran through the Biden administration.
The average price of Brent oil was $58. Under this president, it's $83 a barrel. So the price of oil is more. Is that giving Iran enough money to fund these terror groups in the Middle East?
I mean, I wholeheartedly disagree that our actions are giving. Is that what you're saying? Can you say that again?
The current energy policies in the U.S.
From our energy policies.
seeing the price of oil go up, because when you restrict supply here in the United States, it's forcing to get the global supply from somewhere else. OPEC is cutting prices of oil, so the price of oil goes up.
Yeah, and we're not part of OPEC, as you know.
Right.
And so they're going to make their decisions on whatever they decide. We are not a member of OPEC.
But the administration has decided to regulate the oil industry here in the U.S. and restrict investment, future investment in the oil supply in the U.S. And so as the price of oil goes up, is that giving Iran enough money to fund these terror groups?
It seems to be a big jump. And so certainly I'm not going to speak into that type of hypothetical. It sounds like a hypothetical that you're asking me. So certainly I'm not going to weigh into.
He was basically trying to ask her if, like, them cutting off our oil supply here, because we were pretty much independent.
Independent.
If that has
during who's a
during the Orange Man bad guy. If he's asking her if us giving them essentially more money for gas has helped them fund, what's going on.
She understood.
Yeah.
She knows.
She couldn't answer that.
She never answers anything, bro.
Like, but
she always dances around.
He should have added to that the $6 billion that Biden released to them that Trump froze as well. Remember, because the $7 billion deal that Obama, sent the cash on the pallets or something like that. Remember?
Can Young Lion have a press?
Can we get a press?
Can we get a pass in the White House?
Nah, she would never call on us, bro. She would never call on us. But she should have asked about the $7 billion that Trump froze, and then Biden released the $6 billion to them, and then what was it, a month later?
Yeah.
Crazy.
And then this happened to Hillary Clinton at one of her speaking events.
By the hypocrisy
I'm sorry, we've got two more people to hear from.
I'm sorry.
You have a chance. Well, I'm not sorry. You sit down.
I know
and
you're not sorry. That's the point. The hypocrisy of this speech. The hypocrisy of the fact that
Frank
what do you have? Can you please?
Is a leading
make a statement about President Joe Biden's speech? This is a clearly warmongering speech. President Joe Biden is calling for $100 billion of funding for Israel, Taiwan, and Ukraine, and we're supposed to just bundle these together and pretend like we're going to rush to World War III, and we're all just going to let Hillary Rodham Clinton sit here. Okay.
I'm sorry. This is not the way to have a conversation. If you want to have a conversation, you're welcome to come talk to me afterwards.
She don't want to have a conversation. Talk to me when no cameras are there. Right. Talk to me where my security can rough you up a little bit and get you.
Anything when they're caught.
No, they don't. They will never. They will never when they're being challenged like this.
I wonder if people really look into the defense contractors to really understand where this money is going.
Dick Cheney in Iraq.
Yeah.
He was the vice president at the time.
Right. And I think that's what it is. I think what happens a lot is, for the average person, myself included, when we look at the media, we're just getting, like I said, war and terror.
Sound bites,
right? We're getting these things, and we never go any further to really look at the defense contractors. Where is this really going? Mm-hmm. Because when we hear $100 billion, we think that's going to them.
Yeah.
No, it ain't.
Right.
It ain't going. That amount of money is not landing in Ukraine or Israel.
Right. And all the people all the people in Israel that lost their homes are getting new. No.
That's not happening. Yeah. That's going to defense contractors. Mm-hmm. If they do get some of it, and I'm not denying that they do, it's a very, very small amount. A lot of that is going to defense contractors.
A lot of it is going to, politicians and blinding the pockets of their political friends. That's who it's really going to. It's not going to anything of importance.
Right.
Right.
They have to
it's going to weapons.
Yeah. They have to say it like that.
Yeah. Let's see where this goes.
Hold on. Mike said about Hillary's talk to me in the back. He said, "Talk to me in the back where you will die accidentally."
Where you will commit suicide.
He fell on my lapel.
Right. I don't know what happened. This guy just killed himself out of nowhere.
You're going to wait for me, right? Please, I do not believe you.
I will listen to you, and I will respond to you.
I do not believe you.
But
respectfully, I do not believe you.
Well,
and the fact of the matter is that the American people's voice are what need to be heard.
Yeah, they are being heard.
Because our president is not speaking for the American people, and neither are you.
That's your opinion. That's your opinion.
Yes, that's my opinion.
Well, then sit down. We've heard your opinion. Thank you very much. Now we're going to
I'm
turn
not
to
gonna
people
sit
who
down.
are
I'm
on
not
the
gonna
front
stop
lines
it. I'm not gonna
of
stop it.
working on
I'm
behalf
gonna wait
of human
here.
rights.
This is how Hillary really feels about people. Like, she wants that dude. She would be happy if her Secret Service just ran in and tackled that guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, she does not want to hear what this dude has to say. She does not care.
And unfortunately, there's no cameraman brave enough to film
when she goes
backstage. No cameraman is brave enough.
Where was my security?
Right.
You
no,
dummies.
Fired.
Yeah.
Fired.
Right.
And that's part of the problem too, is that, listen, there are a lot of people who they will not risk their career.
Yeah.
They're not going to risk their cushy jobs to tell the truth.
Yep.
Or to show what really happened. They're not going to.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah, they can't. They can't. And that's the way they like it. They want you compromised in that way.
That's why, listen, before you get in those rooms, you need to be vetted. You need to because it's not just for safety reasons.
Right.
It is, we need to know who is there, so in case things get out of line, we know how to threaten them.
We can control the narrative.
We can control, and that's what people miss. It's not this idea of people want to get to her to kill. No, it is, I want to know who is in there.
Right.
Just in case things get out of hand, I know who to call and I know who to speak to, so I can threaten to make sure that person gets lost.
That's why they were fooled by this guy, because if you see him, he looks like a huge lefty. Like, he probably had the "I'm with her" pin on. He had the pride flag.
Sure,
you know.
sure. And that's where, listen, when she gets back there, she's screaming that happened.
Yeah.
I told you, don't let anybody.
Right. How did he get past my security? I'm having everyone's head.
Matt Lauer's saying, I told you she's crazy.
Yeah. She got him fired for real. Let's see if this goes anywhere else. I haven't watched this whole clip.
Exercise my free speech.
But it's not free speech when you are disrupting everybody else's opportunity to speak.
This is free speech, everyone. This is free speech. That is not free speech. This is people constructing narratives that are openly hypocritical. I'm sorry. The incredible hypocrisy.
You know,
tell
maybe
me
you could
John
actually
Foster Dulles went with Eleanor Roosevelt to bring this Declaration of the Rights of Man. John Foster Dulles was involved with the CIA.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're brilliant in your historical cherry picking.
The Pinochet regime.
Oh,
Please, could you please inform me about the United States?
Okay,
we're
going to move on to
will you
Frank
denounce
Khadija,
Joe
who's
Biden?
actually on the
He's
front
doing the
lines
timeout.
Here
of
comes
human rights, not just
doing the
yelling about it. So, Frank, I want to turn to you because you are from Uganda, and Uganda's 2023 Anti-Homosexuality Act criminalizes
Look what they're talking about. Look what she's going into. She wants to talk to a dude from Uganda about their anti-LGBT act.
Oh my God.
Bro, like,
Want the minerals in Africa, boy. Gotta get those minerals.
yo, Africa, and then they wonder why BRICS is what it is.
Yep.
Right. Well,
You know?
she has to help clean it up because Kamala failed so bad at convincing the Africans that 16 million.
So they really think that Hillary's going to be able to do that?
She's trying.
They don't think that they know what Hillary did in Haiti?
No, they know.
They know. They
know,
talk
but she
about
came
it.
in like a boss and let me at it. She ain't gonna
Let me
that go.
clean this up.
All right, I'll show you.
Kamala doesn't know what she's doing.
Kamala.
Yeah. So I thought that was interesting, man. You seeing people, you know, this is exposing a lot of things to people though as well. This conflict when it comes to you know, certain politicians that people thought were on their side. Even on the left, like, they're realizing that these people are warmongers. These people are in bed with a lot of the contractors.
They love it.
A lot of these people that are part of the military-industrial complex. These politicians that you think are all about humanitarianism, and especially on the left, these fake progressives like AOC.
Yeah, sure.
They're showing who they really are.
Listen, it's a big money grab season. Listen, you had 3 years of the pharmaceutical company, their money grab.
Yep.
Now it's time for some more money
we
grab.
need some,
We
and
got it.
we about to fund 3 wars at the same time.
Come on, man,
bro.
You know the defense contractors are like, listen, so it's all right for these pharmaceutical companies to get some money.
Yeah,
and they're like, we got a war. We got a war coming up. Be easy, take it easy. We got a war.
We gave you guys Ukraine. We want more. Damn it, Ukraine is not enough.
Where is all this money coming from?
It's coming from us
and China.
It's coming from us,
we're
man.
Born we're in debt,
bro. Our taxes are.
We got no money.
We already gave Ukraine
money.
How much did we give Ukraine?
Bro.
Over 100 billion.
Yeah.
Yo, I saw.
I think it's 140. 140 billion.
Let's look up the actual number. How
the Chinese are like,
much?
more war money, you say?
More money.
How much money did we give Ukraine?
Google's gonna tell the truth.
Google might tell the truth.
Yeah.
How much aid
But
has
I know
the U.S.
I know
given
the
Ukraine?
truth though. They were willing. You know how there's the government shutdown. You know.
Yeah.
But they had something where it's like, you know, the employees of the government aren't going to get paid, but Ukraine will get paid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Google itself is saying 75 billion, which doesn't seem accurate.
Yeah, I heard way more than that.
USA Facts is saying 113 billion.
Yeah.
So we know the number is probably closer to 200 billion.
You gotta make it even two.
If they're admitting to 113 billion, so from a lot of the number is at 113 billion on a lot of of these.
You're like CNN, 2 billion ain't bad. No, 200 billion.
200 billion, and we're getting 100 billion more for Ukraine because Ukraine was salty when this Israel thing jumped off.
Oh yeah,
they were salty. They were like,
You're
gonna forget about us.
We're saying like 100 billion. That's a freaking lot of money.
That's the thing, and I think when you throw out these numbers, how astronomical they are, people can't even fathom.
No.
Right.
Nope.
Like what they're taking from us when we have so much need in this country.
Right.
So much need.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of people also are like, okay, I understand that, you know, Israel and Palestine have this contentious relationship. There's a lot of complexity to what's going on there. But what about us? Like, what about what's going on in our country?
What about our border crisis?
Yeah.
We wasted money on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. I mean, it's crazy. Speaking of our border crisis, let me show you guys
before
this.
You show that, Michael Hansberry says, "Talk to me in the back where you will die accidentally."
Oh, Mom, you missed that. You wasn't paying attention. We already read that one.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Yeah, I read it.
Yeah.
You know, you don't listen to me.
So we just watched the speech where the Bidenomics was flash in the backgrounds. So this video is, I think, from TikTok, but it says Bidenomics at work. Play this, Mom.
This is the Roosevelt. It's no longer a hotel.
This is the Roosevelt Hotel in New
National
York.
Guard has taken over. So it says the, and then the Roosevelt is blacked out.
Now it's taken over by the National Guard at this point.
Oh,
And
wow.
it's just being used to house, you know, people.
Illegal
people.
Illegal immigrants.
Yeah.
See, I walked to the Roosevelt Hotel. I tried to go in, and I was stopped at the door. And a lot of National Guardsmen, they stopped me at the door, and I said, "Hey, isn't this the Roosevelt Hotel?" And they said, "No, it's not the Roosevelt Hotel. This is no longer a hotel." I quote. So I'm going to walk down the street and show you that the National Guard, the Fed, has taken over the Roosevelt Hotel and several restaurants next to it. And migrants are on the floor, on the sidewalk, children in the rain. It's cold, it's raining in New York tonight. And these people, who Americans are told are coming here because they've got family. And they have a place to go. They do not have a place to go. They're currently in the Roosevelt Hotel, which is funded by the taxpayer, by you. And they're only going to be there for so long because there's a line queuing to get in and get resources. And then they're in America, and they will be homeless, and they will be destitute, and they will be hungry. And the children you're about to see will be sold. That's how this happens. When people can't eat, They sell themselves. It's very unfortunate, but it's a part of human trafficking. You're about to see a mechanism that will result in human trafficking, debt bondage, slave labor. See that restaurant? It is migrants only. National Guard at the door. Cannot go in there. Watch, I'm going to try and go in. I'm going to try and go in and say, hey, I just want a meal. I'm queuing up to get into this restaurant. You guys open for public?
No.
Not open for public?
No.
No food?
No.
No?
Solo?
Crazy, man.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what's happening in our country. That's what's happening at our border. You know.
What border? They made it.
Yeah.
No border.
Meanwhile, I don't know if you guys saw this, but the president of El Salvador was on Tucker Carlson. And I know you guys have heard me mention El Salvador a lot on here and how, like, that's becoming one of the places where people are like, yo, I'm going to retire there. Like, the way he's turned this country around. It was considered for, like, decades the murder capital of the world.
Wow.
Yeah, because they had, like, all these gangs.
It was overran.
What did they do?
They incarcerated anyone who was affiliated with a gang.
I think I saw a picture with that.
With a bunch of people rounded up.
Yeah.
So, of course, people on the left are coming out and calling this guy a dictator.
He's rounding up people in concentration camps.
Yeah, concentration camps. And he's falsely incarcerating people. But there hasn't been a murder there in over 300 days. I think it was something like that. So, let's listen to what he has to say on Tucker Carlson. And you're talking about El Salvador, which
That's
was
him?
Yeah.
This dude's like 32.
Bro, but he instituted Bitcoin as like one of the main currencies there. Like, it's becoming a spot in El Salvador. Listen to what he has to say about the U.S.
The demise of the U.S. has to come from within. Right? The enemies have to be inside, not really outside. No external enemy can cause so much damage as internal. It's an internal operation. You're watching internal operations here. You can see them in cities that were pristinely beautiful 30 years ago are wastelands right now. You would see people. I mean, I'm from El Salvador, a third world country in Central America, and myself, I can see cities here and say, I want to live here. So that would be unthinkable 3 decades ago. Totally unthinkable. That a Salvadoran wouldn't want to live in a U.S. city, in a U.S. main city. I mean, Los Angeles, San
New York,
Francisco,
Chicago. Yeah.
Well, Philadelphia, Baltimore. When you look how the cities are eroding so fast, this has to be by design. I mean, who would make so many stupid decisions? Like, okay, we're gonna give you money for drugs. Really, they're doing that. In some cities, they're giving people drugs. I mean, they're literally giving people drugs in some U.S. cities. Or they say, okay, we're going to give you money if you don't work. Or we're going to, they make all of these laws that make no sense.
I have to watch that.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Yeah.
The enemy of the United States is going to come from within.
Right. Well, the one thing I will point out, and I don't know, maybe at some point this will be the case, but El Salvador also doesn't have the likes of a George Soros, who is funding a lot of the decision makers who are implementing these policies that are destabilizing our country on purpose. So there is those parts of the equation that have to be factored in. Like, you got this guy who's funding the campaigns for all of these DAs who are creating the environments where criminals are not being prosecuted, where you can, shoplift all you want and no one's going to be prosecuted. You can be homeless and poop on the streets and get paid $1,000 a month, in like some of these California cities. These are people that are openly being funded by Soros and people like that want to destabilize this country. So I think like El Salvador doesn't have that issue yet. It could possibly at some point, you know, but they're still on the come up, you know.
Right.
So I think that's the part of it that, like, what he's saying makes a lot of sense because it is happening from within. It is from a lot of these politicians that are enriching themselves while their cities are suffering. I mean, you know, look at Gavin Newsom, who has the audacity to run for president, but his state is ridiculous right now.
Modern day, you know.
People are fleeing there like crazy to the point where they're trying to like
businesses too.
They're trying to force people to stay through this like exit tax that they want to implement.
They have a new one that just introduced not too long ago, which is selling your home or any kind of purchases.
Yeah,
that's why a lot of the mansions and a lot of the celebrities that own homes there were trying to sell a house at massive discounts because if you sell it, you're going to have to pay like 8% tax or something like that on the purchase, and so they were trying to sell it at massive discounts.
Isn't it like a 10-year exit tax or something?
Something like that. They're trying to get that implemented. I don't think they were able to get that passed.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and also we have, you know, a leader of this country right now that is just, you know, barely even alive. Like, you guys see this video of him over the weekend while all this stuff is going on, him walking on the beach with his wife.
Yeah.
Like this guy just exudes leadership, doesn't he? He's just like, it's like, wow, everyone fears that man, the leader of the U.S. Nothing better to do. Walk on the beach with his wife. And then, did you guys see this clip of him on the Air Force One when the media was interviewing him? First of all, I want to point out like how everyone is just like staring from behind him. Like at any moment, we got to grab this dude and get him out of there before he says something stupid. Like they are leering over his shoulder.
Virtually every mass shooting, every circumstance where a large number of people have been victimized and lost, I've spoken with them. I learned a long time ago what you all learned in your life.
This dude is falling asleep while he's like...
What is he saying? Like,
dude, like...
What's your point?
Bro, I mean, you can't...
remember, bro. Just never know.
Like, it saddens me that this is our leader.
Yeah.
Like the world, there's no wonder why all of these countries are getting bold right now.
Yeah.
All of them. They're like, what they going to do?
This crazy.
El Salvador got a young model. We get Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah, we get this guy. Here he goes with his Bidenomics. This is when he walks to the podium. He's about to address the nation about Bidenomics.
Good afternoon, folks. I'm not introducing me, Mark is. I forgot Mark. I went straight to the podium. I apologize.
No problem. Good afternoon.
Dude, he's so goofy, bro. He forgot that the dude was supposed to introduce him, and he walks right up to the podium. And he says, "Sorry, Mark, I forgot I was supposed to not introduce me. Mark's introduced me." And then this guy, watch him make fun of Biden.
Or find his way off a stage. He can't find his way off a stage. You ever see makes a speech, if you call it that. Okay, thank you. And they're screaming at him. They're saying, "No, you got there, you got there." And then he can make a bad speech, but you got to be able to see, you came in here. I can even go out there. I see there's an exit there, exit here. You got exits all over.
I miss him.
Yo, this guy.
I would have made it up the stage.
Sleepy
It would have been huge.
The biggest.
Some say I'm the best at making it off the stage.
I know
say
the exits are.
They say it. They say it. Bro, it's so funny.
Best exit off the stage.
Like the contrast is so crazy. But this is how much the media did a great job of making everyone hate this man so much that they would rather have a dude that
no, they need
Weekend at Bernie's, bro.
They
He's
needed the
literally,
pandemic, bro.
he's literally doing what they say Trump was like.
Trump.
He's not all there. He's crazy.
What was remember the one time he walked slowly down the ramp and they were like, he's in cognitive decline. He should do a mental acuity test.
Yes.
Remember that? And then he did one.
And then
Don Lemon failed it. Because Trump was bragging about how great he did on the test.
Don Lemon didn't know what a rhinoceros was.
I think he called it a hippopotamus or something. Yeah, it was something dumb like that. Yeah. So I thought that was funny just seeing that contrast because Biden is like clearly like that one clip. Everyone was sending that one clip with him on Air Force One around, like that was going super viral because he's just so like, it looks like he's about to fall asleep.
Yeah.
And then like they were pointing out his chin and people were like, oh, his mask is coming off. You know, they start going into those conspiracy theories. Right, Mom? Right, Mom?
Why are you asking me?
Talking about his mask coming off? Because you always send that stuff to me, Mom.
I never sent it to you.
What website you get it off of?
I never sent it. Why you lie? But I do need Simone to do me a favor. Can you sit here? Because I've gotten like 10 phone calls from my mom. And something's going on.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Simone's going to handle the cameras.
I gotta go produce.
You got to produce for me. Do you know how to... Can you bring up the videos that I need? Because I want to get into this next story. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but we had... a few days ago, we had another insurrection at the Capitol.
I was not aware of that.
Not aware of that. Well, let me shed some light on it. It's a very sad situation, you know. Because we take this seriously. When people overrun the Capitol building and they make a ruckus in there, they need to be prosecuted at the fullest extent of the law. This is an insurrection, and we need to do something about this. Okay.
How do I make it small?
This is the U.S. Capitol building, by the way.
What are they saying? Shame?
Yeah.
Thrones reference.
So yeah, I'm sure all of these people will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Everyone who broke into the Capitol building should be arrested. Simone is clicking buttons that he shouldn't click. There we go. What are you doing? What are you doing there, dude? What are you doing? Okay.
Bear with me, guys.
All right. So at the top layer, just hit the logos button, and that will take the screen share away. There you go. And then you can bring the screen share up when you want to play. There you go. He's got it.
Bear with me, folks. Bear with me.
Yeah. But yeah, insurrection at the Capitol. I mean, this one fellow right here was very upset with the way he was handled by the Capitol Police. Bring this up real quick. Ouch. Ouch.
Why are you doing this?
Oh man,
bro,
it's so funny, bro.
It's a moment.
It's so funny. It's so funny. Like,
is he gonna get time like the
Q shaman? The Q shaman?
Yeah, Q shaman spent how many years?
A year. I think he was like two years in jail.
Mm-hmm.
2 years in prison when he was let in and escorted around until the footage came out, thanks to Tucker Carlson. Yeah. But yeah, I just found it that hilarious that you guys didn't even hear about this. This wasn't on 24/7 on the news. Insurrection at the Capitol. What date was this? October something. October 18th, 2023. Capitol was overrun. Didn't hear nothing about it. Yeah, the people protesting And these are pro-Palestinian people that are protesting us aiding Israel in what's going on. They were very upset about that, and then they broke into the Capitol and did a whole protest. To sit in, but
or broke in or let in.
Same. Apparently, that doesn't make a difference, right? Everything okay, Mom? Yeah. Okay. Didn't seem like everything was okay.
Can't go into it.
Okay. Well, so Paul said Nayib Bukele totally transformed El Salvador. Yes, he did. Michael Hansberry said they're pouring into New Jersey as well. Yes, they are.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. It's getting crazy, man. We see it all the time.
Yeah,
you know,
100%.
James had to make a whole career shift. Man.
I'm making pizza now.
Hey, don't get into that either.
Oh no,
they got that on lock too, brother.
I'm not making pizza, everybody.
So let's get into this next story because another person who is trying to be canceled for some reason on the right this time, which is hilarious because if you remember, they were praising him for his jokes about the trans community in his specials. Mr. Dave Chappelle, one of the best comedians in the world. He is under fire now because he made some statements at one of his comedy shows in Boston about pro-Palestinian statements, so apparently, if you do that, the right wants to cancel you. So there's a story from the New York Post. You can pull this up, Mom. It says, Dave Chappelle's fans walk out after he blasts Israel's war crimes in Gaza, pro-Palestinians losing jobs offers report. So comedian Dave Chappelle criticized the United States for backing Israel's war crimes. War crimes is that's a very touchy term to use, but everybody has their right to opinion, right? We believe in free speech in this country, especially on the right. I know conservatives believe in free speech and people's right to their opinion on things, right?
Not this time.
So for backing Israelis' war crimes against Palestinians during the live performance in Boston Thursday, promoting some audience members to walk out, according to the report. The controversial comic made the remarks during the show at the TD Garden on Thursday. The Wall Street Journal's reported Dave Chappelle condemned Hamas. So he condemned Hamas October 7th attack on Israel.
Good.
That left 1,400 Israelis dead, as he should. Anyone who doesn't condemn that is as far as I'm concerned, just being evil. But he blasted what he claimed were Israel's war crimes in Gaza, sparking some pushback from the crowd. People in attendance told the outlet. The brouhaha started when a member of the audience told Chappelle to shut up after he said he didn't think people should lose their jobs for supporting Palestinians. That doesn't sound like a crazy statement.
Yeah.
Especially, I'm pretty sure the right is against people losing their jobs, against cancel culture.
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle's response, criticized the Israeli government's decision to cut off food and water and electricity to Gaza, which, we talked to Ophir about that last week. I kind of get what he's saying too. Like if the people that are in power there actively want to eliminate us off the face of the planet, why should we supply them with water? So like we say, it's a complicated situation. It's not just cut and dry.
Yeah.
You do have to factor in the fact that there's innocent people there that just want to live their lives, and a lot of them are being oppressed as well by the Hamas government. But it doesn't make sense to me that people want to come at you and like cancel you just for stating your opinion on the fact, on whatever it is, on either side. It's like if you
especially when those people were the very people saying end cancel culture.
Exactly. And that's what bothers me about this, is that it just takes the right thing to trigger everything that you said you stand for, to trigger you to turn your head on that. To turn your back on everything you stand for. Those are the things that I don't respect as a human being. Like if you stand for something, you should stand for it no matter what.
Yeah.
You should stand for people's right. If you want to complain about the left not respecting free speech and snowflakes who get offended by things and walk out on comedy shows because they don't like dangerous words or whatever. But then you do the same thing.
Yeah.
When it becomes something that you are upset about, you know.
Sure.
That's the thing that bothers me, and I think this Dave Chappelle thing kind of points that out.
Free speech, no, you know, if you don't like it.
Yeah.
Until it offends you.
Exactly. Yeah. And then, so someone posted this on Twitter. I thought it was funny. It said, Dave Chappelle criticized the LGBTQ. People are outraged. People walk out. Dave Chappelle criticized Jews. People are outraged. People walk out. Dave Chappelle criticized black people. People laugh, cheer, and say he's a genius. Because it's like,
that's hilarious.
I heard people saying like, well, he's a comedian and people aren't coming there to hear politics. If you go to a Dave Chappelle show, at this point, you know.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine when he says the politics that you agree with.
Right.
Yeah.
Then you cheer and clap. And it's like, yeah, that's right, Dave. You know, because when he made the jokes about the trans people.
Or Jesse Smollett.
Jesse Smollett, yeah. They love it. They love it. They're quoting it. They're posting up the clips, you know. So don't act like you didn't go to Dave Chappelle show knowing exactly what.
Right.
And plus, he's Muslim. You don't think he's going to have some, like, loyalty towards the Palestinians?
New. I didn't know he was Muslim.
You didn't know Dave was Muslim?
No, I did not.
Yeah, he talked about it many times.
Right.
Really?
Yeah, Dave Chappelle's
on
Muslim.
His special?
Yeah.
In general, too, when he does interviews, he'll talk about, you know, that.
He probably mentioned it when he talked about how low he wanted his haircut, but you wasn't listening, so.
Zinger.
Selective hearing.
But then, and I remember this from his special on Netflix. So people were then reposting this clip from his Netflix special. And I remember when he made this joke on his, and I just mentioned something to you about this. Like, I couldn't believe he said that because I know the way they will come at you. And no one really did come at him for it at the time, but now they're going back and bringing it back up. So I'm gonna play the joke. We'll probably get some copyrights for this, but I gotta play it because, you know,
who cares?
Yeah.
I mean, what the fuck has been going on with that shit?
Watch the language, guys.
These UFOs keep coming to Earth, and it made me think of an idea for a movie. It sounds dumb, but hear me out. In my movie idea, we find out that these aliens are originally from Earth. That they're from an ancient civilization that achieved interstellar travel and left the Earth thousands of years ago. Some other planet they go to, and things go terrible for them in the other planet. So they come back to Earth. Decide that they want to claim the Earth for their very own. It's a pretty good plot line, huh? I call it Space Jews.
You remember? You remember that? To me, the funniest part of that joke was his face when he said it, like knowing that he wasn't gonna get a laugh. And then when you watch it and it continues, he says it again. He just keeps looking around. He's like, Space Jews. But yeah, so now people are playing that clip again,
right?
Like saying that, oh, this was a hidden pro-Palestinian joke, you know.
Of course.
But like you say, you know, what it does is it exposes the hypocrisy of the right.
Yeah.
This time.
Yep.
Because we have to call them out too. You can't claim that you want freedom of speech. You can't say that we live in a snowflake culture. We can't ask people to toughen up. We can't ask people and say, hey, listen, grow a backbone. It's just speech. It's just language.
Yeah.
And then when that happens and it doesn't suit you, or you disagree with the ideas coming from that very person you praise, now you want them canceled.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't work like that.
No. And
you know what I mean?
and everyone should lose respect for those that say they stand for these things, and then as soon as the tables turned, that they don't stand for anything anymore.
I've made the correlation. You and I have talked about this before with hip hop culture, which is this: you can't be mad at Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion about the raunchy lyrics they do, but love Tupac, Biggie, all the other male rappers that talk about the very same thing, and say this is a classic, and say this is bad. You know what I mean?
You can't do that. You can't hate WAP but love Big Pimpin'.
No, you can't.
You know,
it's in the same vein.
Yeah.
You may not like the lyrical, you may not like what they're talking about, but it's in the same.
Right.
It's just a female version
it's
of that.
promoting the same culture. Girls, girls, girls,
That's
girls,
all
girls all over the globe.
Right.
You know, like if
I got hoes in different areas. Yeah, you got. Yeah, all right.
I don't know any of those songs.
Stop it. Stop it.
I don't know what you guys listen to as
We put on that goggles on you to the side. They'll
Right.
transform you.
as
Right.
children.
remember the DMX and Cisco song?
Yeah.
Oh.
What these wrong from?
right.
And he goes down the list and names all the chicks he's
Yeah.
messing with at once, and everybody knew all the names, rapping it with Cisco singing. Somebody let me know, yeah, yeah, yeah,
What
yeah.
did mama know?
And it's like you can't. So you can't act like that's okay,
Right.
but then be mad.
It's hypocrisy.
Yeah,
you're
it's
a hypocrite.
hypocrisy, yeah.
You're a hypocrite, and it's in music. It's in culture. But what we're talking about specifically is this time it's the left. I mean, the right reacting.
Yeah.
To this, and they're pretending that they're outraged.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's not everyone on the right.
It's not everyone.
but those specific people that I do see, it's like okay, you're not really. I was actually surprised because Charlie Kirk, when he said what he said on, he got backlash for what he said on PBD's podcast. Remember the clip I sent y'all?
Yeah,
he was
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about the some of the questions he had about Israel's involvement in this whole thing, and like some of their moves and some of their decisions, and like funding Hamas and a lot of those things.
Right.
And he got a lot of backlash for just saying that.
Right.
And then he made a statement about the Christians that were just killed in that church. Of course, everybody, coming at him, trying to cancel him. It's interesting to see that you can't, and especially for like to even to try to come out and support Christians is like wrong now.
You can't even ask.
You can't even say like, okay, well, why were these? People were adamantly saying, "Oh, this is a lie. The church was never bombed," and they're posting a picture of the church still standing, but that was only part of the church. The part that the people were in got bombed. And then they said, "Oh, but then that's because Hamas was hiding their weapons underneath the church." And it's like, okay, that's. Could be true, but it doesn't mean it still means that innocent people were killed. People were there holding up to not, they were there trying to stay safe. So, it's just this whole thing has been very revealing, very interesting. This is one of those topics where it's like you're supposed to think one way. Like the right has always come out against that. Like if you don't toe the line and think one way, you get canceled. That's and now all of a sudden they're in favor of that.
Yeah.
It's just interesting.
It fits their narrative.
Yep.
Jake said that's the carnal mentality, righteous in my own eyes.
Yeah.
Blind to every selfish desire.
Mm-hmm. Michael Hansberry said WAP was glorified on the charts and Small Town was scrutinized. Yeah, that is true. But yeah, you couldn't make WAP in a small town. Let's take all those women that did WAP to Palestine. See how that works out for them. Yeah, that's funny. That's another funny thing.
Well, they're going to Dubai and they're getting in trouble.
Yeah, that is true.
That's good.
There's a lot of stories.
The loud girls.
There's a lot of stories of these Instagram chicks going to Dubai, boss chicks, and
going over there, and they're not a boss.
Effing around and finding out.
Listening to celebrities.
Yeah, and then they're crying. They're crying on social media about being imprisoned.
Yeah,
because they think they can go over there and cuss out men. It's illegal for women to argue with men over there. But I do find it funny that a lot of these pro-Palestinian lefties are like, have you seen like these gays for Palestine people? Like, I don't think y'all understand. I don't think y'all understand what's happening over there. Really, like I don't think y'all understand what they believe in over there. You know what I mean? Like it's funny.
Well, they're trying to change their mind. They're trying to change the Palestinians' minds.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
See, we're good people. We're for you guys.
Go over there and see how that goes. See how that works out for you.
You see our sign? We support you guys.
All right, so let's get into some cultural stuff right here. So this is something that me and James kind of talk about a lot. And I saw this clip. It had went viral, and I sent it to James, and he was like, "We should talk about this on the podcast." I'm like, "Cool." So this is from the Culture Report. This is a clip from their podcast, and it went viral on TikTok because they're talking about black businesses and talking about like supporting black businesses. And we've had these conversations many times, you know. So I just want to play this clip, and then we'll talk about it a little bit.
You know, we do that with Black Dollar. Once we get a dollar, we don't go spend it with other black brands. We go and run and jump outside
Well, I'm not
our
spending
culture.
nothing with a black brand because it's a black brand.
I just have some language, guys.
I don't like that narrative either. Let's spend with black. Black
Everybody
people,
else does it.
Black people, no, the fuck they don't, Tamara. You can stop with the slick marks. It don't work. Bottom line is
Asians
this.
don't care if you have good
Can
product.
I fucking get my point out,
You
bro?
good.
Okay, then shut the fuck up. Let me get my point out. Let me get my point out.
Go ahead. You
Bottom
gonna
line
say
is
the same
this.
thing. Black
No,
people,
I'm not
the
going to say the
product's
same
not
thing.
good.
No,
So I'm
no,
not
it's not. The
gonna
product's
spend
not good. I don't want anyone supporting Ray because Ray is black. I want people supporting Ray because Ray is excellent. And the reality is that the black people have the worst customer service in the motherfucking world. And you can say that you don't agree with that because I don't give a fuck why. If we get our customer service better, we'll make more business. Bottom line. So you can say whatever you want.
When you go to the Chinese restaurant, they nice to you. They, hey Ray, how you doing today? No, they just as mean.
I don't go to the fucking Chinese restaurant.
She's talking about the hood Chinese restaurants.
Yeah, where everybody go in there and ignorant to them.
Right.
So they're a certain way.
Their whole attitude. First of all, they have to have bulletproof glass. So
Yeah.
let's start there.
Where everybody is mean.
Yeah, right. It's like the attitude that they're met with on a regular is so degrading that I think.
Me and James. Sorry to cut you
Go
off.
ahead, go
James,
ahead, go
but
ahead.
we have stories because our studio and our office is right in the hood,
Yeah.
kind of.
Well,
Now they built it
it's
up
better
more.
now. Yeah, it's the
But
downtown area.
when we're there, like every day, we would go to the Chinese
Yeah.
food place or the Crown Fried Chicken, and we have stories. You know, when ignorant people is going in there,
just
asking how much is the fried rice, $5.
Yeah, yeah.
How much is this? $5.
Or they come in the door all loud. Hey yo, ma, let me get a Lucy. Hey yo, let me get a Lucy. Or they come in there, yo, let me get my General Tso chicken and no soy sauce this time. I'm tired of y'all. Every time I come in here, y'all don't give me my soy sauce.
They see that every day,
Yeah.
right? So they're built a certain way now.
Yeah.
They're like no emotions,
Right.
So it's like, do they fault? Do you fault them for
Yeah.
being the way they are?
And the other thing I want to point out is like, we played about a minute and a half. How many times did we hear the F-bomb?
That was like 20 times.
So you
Curse
want
each
to talk
other
about cultural things.
Yeah.
Like
Curse each other
that
out.
is a huge thing in the black culture where it's like we just gotta talk with cussing. Like we just have to.
And you got to scream at each other.
Yeah, we gotta yell at each other,
Scream
over talk each other, yeah, and talk ignorant to each other.
Yeah.
Like that's part of what he's
It's acceptable chaos.
right, exactly. And it's condoned in a sense. It's like if you
Right.
don't if you talk more eloquent, if you talk more proper, if you talk more quiet, yo, why are you talking white, yo?
Yeah.
Now, why you talk so white?
True.
Yeah.
That's something culturally that we have accepted. So but I'll keep playing the clip just so we can get more context.
All right, but you know what I'm saying, Ray. Like,
I don't
stop.
know.
We could yell.
I'm
You yelling
speaking
don't
for
make
Ray.
your point.
I'm speaking
more
for Ray.
right. At the end of the day, Asians don't sit there and say, hey, your customer service has to be perfect. Your product has to be A1 before I support you. They support you.
So
Other
hold on.
races
Tamara,
support
Tamara.
you.
So Sue in the West, they're from America.
Can you speak for all Asians and tell us if that's true or not?
Asians are smart, man. Them Koreans be getting in that hair game and
Yeah. I mean,
selling weave.
Asians
in the hood.
do support their own. I know Filipinos, they support their own.
Filipinos is a community that
Vietnamese, Cambodians. Dude,
Yeah.
I just watched JL Jupiter was at one of them. There's that Cambodian market right in Voorhees. He was
Yeah.
there again at another festival. I was like, man, I keep missing these festivals. Some good food.
Wow.
But
right up the street there. Oh
yeah.
man. Dude, you're right.
They keep doing these festivals there, and they have all these street food
Well, we're not
vendors.
invited.
No, I saw some black people there, but there is a thing about supporting your own community. Chinatown and all that. But I still think it's like if the food is trash, they're not going there.
No.
Like if the food is not good or the customer service is bad, your business isn't going. They're not gonna just support you because you're Asian.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You still have to provide something that people want. So just that narrative of like, nah, they support it just because. Like, nah, that's not true.
Secondarily, she's a very customer service driven individual. She understands.
Shout out to the one Asian.
Oh my God.
Sue moved to the West End. Sue moved to the West End, and Sue started selling wings. And now you can take a selfie with Sue. You can have a good time with
And
Sue.
Sue only plays Gucci like music.
She does.
Like
So that makes sense why he's defending Sue.
She's playing to her audience.
She's playing it.
She understands her audience.
So y'all gonna go to black people restaurants because you could take selfies.
Hold on. So when you talk about black customer service, I had this conversation the other day with one of our artists. She was like, my nail tech moved from Atlanta. I was like, I got another one for you. She asked me, she was like, she black? I was like, yeah. She's like, I don't want to go there. She probably don't do feet. And she probably gonna charge me an arm and a leg. And I was like, the fuck? She's like, every black nail tech she went to in Atlanta, I was like, I'm not gonna touch your feet. They charge you an extra a reservation fee, and then they give you shitty service when you get there. And I was like, damn, that's fucked up. We can't even have.
Bro, I spend $500,000 a year on bullshit, bro. And I love spending money. And the reason why I don't spend with black establishments like that, because they got fucked up attitudes. They don't give you a smile. They don't even say, hello, how you doing, man? I take your order. But I'm supposed to keep spending with them because they look like me?
I gotta say, I've experienced that a lot.
I've experienced that too.
I've experienced that a lot. And not even just in black-owned businesses. It's like, how many times when we go to certain places and like most of the staff is young black girls or you know what I mean? And their attitude is just like, they're on the phone. They're not paid. They're not even looking at you. Can I help you? You know what I mean? Like just no customer service.
Yeah. That annoys me. That happened to me in the airport.
Yeah.
Young lady in the airport.
In Atlanta.
Yes. I'm not going to say her race. Go ahead, say it. She had her AirPod in, right? And I noticed that, but I thought she was talking to me at first.
Yeah.
She didn't talk to me at all. She was talking on the phone the whole time. She was like...
He's having the conversation. So how's your dick going?
Yeah, because I'm nice. I'm thinking she's talking to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, wait a minute. She's not having a conversation with me.
Yeah.
I'm like, that is ignorant as heck.
How
I'm
you-
buying something from you.
But they don't look at it's just a job to them. They can't wait till they clock out. They're not being taught customer service. You know, and that's a problem. You know, there's something that needs to be addressed. And how many times you talked about some of the businesses that you wanted to support that open up, you know, soul food restaurants, you know, even like Caribbean restaurants. And what do you encounter?
Right.
You know,
same thing. I think you know, I was gonna wait till you finish the.
Well, we'll keep playing, but you can make a.
I was gonna say, I think part of the problem is black people, because we have been in a servant role for so long, we look down on servitude. So we look at servitude as beneath, as something beneath you, and then the fact that you have to do it, you feel forced to do it. So then we want to take out our frustration on people for them thinking that we're beneath them. So it's like almost like you think I'm beneath you, so I'm going to give you this attitude.
Right.
I'm going to show you that even though I'm here, I don't have to take nothing from you. So it's like almost like an offensive attitude they take.
Right.
Right? Because historically, because we've been in this position, we can't let it go. So we look down on anything that's service based. We feel that that's not boss level. Even the terminology that we use, level up, boss up, all this.
See, everyone's a CEO.
Yeah, I'm making stacks. I'm making racks.
Why work in it? Why start a restaurant? You know, if you don't
because
you want the glory.
You think you're going to make a bunch of money.
Yeah, you want the glory. You don't want that. So the language, to me, is a big part of the problem.
Yeah.
The way, just so we're talking, how they're speaking to each other right now is very disrespectful
and vulgar. Yeah,
and very vulgar, very aggressive towards one another. So they're addressing an issue, but they're displaying an issue too, which is there's no kindness in the way people are speaking.
Right.
So I feel like part of it is, if you do come off very servitude in your behavior, as other black people see you as
soft.
shucking and jiving, you're soft, you're corny.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to let people.
Where do you think that came in at though? Because there was a generation where servitude was still handled with respect. You know, there was a lot of black people that were shoe shiners, that were drivers, that were. I mean, I know we look at that and say like, yeah, that's what we were forced to do because we couldn't get the jobs that we really wanted. But they still took those jobs and they did them like it,
pride
and honor, and the Bible says you do it as though you're doing it unto God. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you felt that in a certain generation, and then somewhere along the line.
I mean, I have my own theory. I'll explain what I feel happened. I felt like you're right. There was an era of black men and black women that were pure servant based.
Yeah.
And that's just what they do. And they were able to put their families through community education, college with these jobs, porters, making cars, the massive influx from black people from the South that went up to Detroit to work at Ford and GM and those things, right? The music industry is definitely a part of that. Entertainment is a part of that because we idolize celebrities, rappers, all that stuff like that. But part of it too is this, and this is the unforeseen part of black culture that we don't talk about, which is this: the very people, the porters, the nurses, the caretakers, the cooks that put their sons and daughters through school, when those sons and daughters graduated, they left those communities and went elsewhere, taking their education to higher jobs, and they disappeared from the community. And so there was no reflective mirror for those young kids to see doctors, lawyers, people of higher education working and servicing the community.
Right.
What we saw was the pimps, the hustlers.
Those are the ones that stayed in the
Those are the ones that stayed in the community
and made the money and drove the fancy cars.
And they drove the fancy cars. So what we saw was the people that were educated, once they received their degree, though their parents are in that community, when they left, they took a certain class with them, and that left. And so what you're stuck now in the community is, instead of a kid seeing an entrepreneur, business owners, dentists, doctors, lawyers, people that reflect a collective, what they saw was the drug dealer. They saw the stick-up kid. They saw the prostitute. They saw people that essentially got stuck in the community, but they were using the community. And then once that culture transferred to hip-hop, it became glorified. Now, it's not just hip-hop's fault, because I tell you, I watch a lot of blaxploitation movies.
Yeah.
When they first came out, it was actually a good... Blaxploitation actually saved Hollywood.
Yeah.
But it was movies like Shaft, and it was like more dignified a little bit.
And they always
right?
had like a positive message. They
had a positive
Shaft was
message.
trying to get rid of the drug dealers from our community.
Right.
Yeah.
But along the way, studios picked up that these movies were cash grabs.
Yeah.
So they started promoting Superfly, Pimp the Hard Way, all these kind of like, where's my money and the bitches?
What's the one that they just did the Netflix? Eddie Murphy did the Netflix one about
Dolomite. Dolomite was one of them.
Yeah.
So if you listen to the rappers in the 90s, all the little skits were skits that were taken from the blaxploitation, the spoof era.
Right.
But it was so stupid. So when you look at that, right, those people became the heroes. But what I'm trying to say is this: as much as we would love to blame the rappers and the drug pushers, really it was the educated black class that abandoned the community and left. And when they left, they took all of that with them.
Right.
And so the kids that were coming up had nothing to look at as
examples.
An example.
Yeah, their
right?
heroes became the wrong ones.
Right.
Yeah.
So you and I talk about this too, as men that are married and we have children. We can't promote inappropriate male behavior and then expect our daughters to pick out of that group men that are honored and virtuous men out of that group.
Yeah.
We can't do that. We can't promote debauchery, and we can't say we're all about pimps and hoes and stuff like that, and then say where are the good men to marry my daughters. You can't do that.
Yeah.
So take
or
that amplified to the
our
community.
sons to be upstanding human beings and not get girls pregnant when we're always look at her. Look at her.
We can't.
We can't do that.
We can't do that.
Right.
So I think, like I said, my main point is it's easy to blame the rappers and, like I said, people in the community promoting that, and they have a part to play in it. But there was a sense of abandonment by the educated class of black people that left these communities and left no example, like I said, no entrepreneurships, which left a vacuum for the Koreans, the Arabs, the other Indians to come in and basically use those communities and start businesses there because nobody else would do it.
So all the proper business owners left the community,
Right?
Because there was a time when there were thriving black businesses in the community. Like
There were.
you know,
You forgot about the poppies.
the
Yeah,
poppies,
yeah.
The
But they're part of that
Dominicans.
too, because they
I know black. I know black.
But
I'm Dominican.
Latinos are tied into black. Latinos who are American born are tied into black culture too, because they almost operate in the same vein.
Yeah.
But like I was saying, it to me, it's the cursing out culture, the slap you upside your head. I'm gonna treat you, because what happened was when those black businesses are established, they typically don't look for actual employees. They hire their cousin,
Yeah.
they hire their niece, their nephew. They hire certain people, and they never sit them down and say, "Listen, this is our store policy.
Right.
You are going to treat people with respect." That's really their niece back there.
Yeah.
That's their daughter back there. That's their cousin. Now, they display that at will, because they're not gonna fire their daughter, their
Right.
cousin, and niece. They're just not going to do that.
Right.
So if you called and complain, they may listen to you, but they'll ignore you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And I think like a lot of times it's like people open up soul food restaurants. They think just because everybody tells them they got the best collard greens in the world that they don't have to worry about what the store
Service
looks
is
like.
like.
They don't got to care what the service looks like. They don't got to care what type of presentation they're giving you when they serve you.
Right.
My collard greens is the best. I make the best mac. Everybody loves my mac and cheese.
Right.
So, we selling platters over here.
Right.
So,
Platters.
So, that I think that culture of teaching them how to run a business where it's successful and not cut corners and not just think about, I'm trying to make this amount of money. It's I agree with everything you're saying. Let's keep this clip going and see where this goes.
Fuck that.
Damn.
Man, so
Dang.
Right off the bat.
As soon as
I agree with everything you're saying.
It's like you can't. But this is what we're saying.
write that.
Like you can't even play this thing for 20 seconds without hearing the F word.
Right.
The rich are gonna the people that are gonna rise to the top, the people that understand what it takes to win. Not the people that feel like you should let me win because they let them win. That's not how you win.
And the art of customer service is like almost, I don't know where it went, but like it's very important. Like think about anything that you're doing, even selling a product, it's about the service behind it. So I think we have to amplify
It is
that.
the only thing that matters. The only thing that matters is the service. We are in the service business. I am in the service business. I am successful. 16 years later, I love Tehran. I love Tehran. Guess why you love Tehran? Because Tehran understands when I walk in this bitch, I'm a service.
Yeah.
You don't look at this bitch and walk here like I'm the biggest songwriter in the world. Y'all all need to bow down to me. That's why we rich. And my thing is a black man that has made millions of dollars and want to see other black people make millions of dollars. I know the one thing that's the difference is the fucking attitude. That's why I yell, because the attitude is the difference. If you fix your attitude, everything else will follow. But you think, well, they ain't got to fix their attitude. Well, we ain't them.
You guys know how it is when you buy a new Mac. It's super fast at first.
Commercial.
Pretty soon after, it starts to slow down. That's probably
the Vietnamese.
We ain't them.
The Vietnamese.
'Cause if we was
they
them,
gotta
we would
fix their attitude because service had them fuzz spots are.
Yeah, I mean,
but it's
again, it's cultural. Like, and it's not attitude. They're not giving you attitude.
It's just no service.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you hear how he's saying? And he says, and that's why I'm yelling. No, you're cursing.
Yeah.
You're cursing and yelling. Gosh.
We'll be where they are. We are us. And the thing that's holding us back is we don't treat each other with respect. We don't treat each other like we're thankful. We don't. I worked at McDonald's and I worked at Chick-fil-A. That changed my life. When I worked at McDonald's, they told me the goal is to get the customer out in 45 seconds. 30 seconds or less. That was the goal. They ain't say smile. They ain't say none of that. They said the goal is to get them in and out 30 seconds. When I went to work for Chick-fil-A, they was like, we're going to pay you. They asked me how much I made per hour. I told them. Then they said, we're going to pay you $2 extra for that. Then I'm 16, Dina. $2 extra an hour is a lot when you're 16. So he was like, and I smiled. And he said, you know what I'm giving you that extra $2 for? Your smile. I don't care if you're cooking. I don't care if you're sweeping. I don't care what you're doing. You need to have a smile on your face. And meanwhile, that's why when we see a Chick-fil-A, you'll see fucking 50 cars in line and you'll wait, right? But if you see a McDonald's with 4 cars, you're like, the line's too long, right? Because they don't fucking stress customer service. So hold on, stop. So I'm trying to teach you how to get to a certain place, and you don't want to accept that you got to change your motherfucking attitude if you do. And instead of change your attitude, you want to bring up what Asians do. I don't know if the motherfucker is smiling by the way they talking. I don't know their culture. I know our culture, and I know our culture. Black women have bad attitudes, and so do a lot of black people. And my thing is that we want to make money, then fix your motherfucking attitude. Or you'll be off and you'll see another motherfucker there smiling, and they'll be like, they only picked her because she's white. No, we picked her because she smiled.
And I just have to say, we have to change the mindset of looking at serving as a weakness.
That's what you just was saying. Let me just read a couple comments. Courtney said he's completely correct. Courtney said, y'all right though. Michael said, you Miss Lady, Miss Lady B, where my chicken? Jake said, customer service comes from accountability and kindness. Customer service means nothing deeply to people if it loses its root. When customer service is just about money, it loses its meaning. It makes no sense to people when you don't uphold the foundational truths. That's absolutely correct. Because when it's just about the money, it'll show. Eventually, that customer service goes away when the money's not there.
Right.
Yeah.
You know. But she's about to make a good point when she talks about service. Because I remember this part of the clip that kind of like hits people. So I'll just play it real quick.
And you have to serve before you can lead anything.
Absolutely.
So you have to start.
And even when you lead, you're serving.
Even when you lead, you should be serving. So stop looking at service as something that's weak or like, you know, I don't do that. It doesn't make sense. Like that's what I would have to say. Like my career, I have been in a lot of serving positions before I could become my own boss or my own leadership or be an entrepreneur. I had to learn and serve for other people for a very long time without the credit, without the pay. And that's how you become great.
We know.
Selling,
oh crap! We know a lot about that.
Leadership or be an entrepreneur.
We know a lot
I had
about
to
that,
learn
right?
And serve for
Jake,
other people.
Jake
for a
can vouch
very
for that
long
too.
time. Without
how
the
much
credit,
we
without the
serve
pay.
in the music business.
And that's how you become great.
And you know what? When we was coming up, you know how all the other big songwriters do it? They give you a song and they say, that's the song. That's the lyrics you're singing. That's it. And then Tehran will walk around and say, hey, here's a song. Do you like the lyrics? Would you like to change something? Who you think they're going to come back and see? And then all those dudes those kids, those artists that you treated like kids, like you're going to sing my song, wind up becoming stars. Then they don't want to work with you no more because you treated them like they wasn't shit when they was at the bottom. So that's why Tehran is still here. We treat everybody like they're Beyonce.
Yeah.
We don't just treat Beyonce like she Beyonce. And that's the problem. If you're in the everybody, there's not a job in America, there's not an entrepreneur in America that is not in the service business.
Yeah.
And then if you don't learn that, you're not going to win in life. I don't give a fuck if you're selling steel. You're selling steel to someone. You're selling steel to someone. People spend their money with what makes them feel good. And what makes them feel good is how you treat them, not the fact that they spent money with someone that looked like them. Now, if you treated me good and you look like me, man, that's a blessing. But I'm going to always go to the people that treat me like I matter, not the people that treat me like, what the fuck you want, nigga? You know us,
Right.
nigga. You know how we are. You know I'm having a bad day. You know, I don't give a fuck. You better smile.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to serve, you shouldn't be doing people's pedicures.
Right.
That's the worst job to be doing. If you
Like,
don't
why did you pick that? And think about it. Like, Jesus used to wash people's feet. Just think about that concept.
Say that again.
Jesus
That's
used to
beautiful.
wash people's feet. That was, I mean, he did that. Like, that was that's like the ultimate, like, I am serving you.
I love that. That's beautiful, by the
Yeah.
way.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
see,
I mean, it's funny because Jake commented right there, the greatest in the kingdom are the servants of all.
Right.
Yeah.
The first shall be last.
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean?
And she has a great point. To be a good leader and to understand your business, you have to be of service.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to know the inner workings. Just to understand how it works, you have to understand that.
Yeah.
If you don't know that, you're not going to know the inner workings.
Exactly. How many times do we talk about Go ahead, Mom. I'm
I
sorry.
was going to say, it's crazy because when I used to go to the nursing home
Mhm.
to visit people, I always thought to myself, why are these people working here if they're treating people like trash?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they're supposed to serve these people that need their help.
Yeah.
And they would treat them like horrible.
It's all for the paycheck.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's all for the money.
How many times have we talk about that mentality, especially, and I notice a lot like in our culture, especially from people that come from like a certain demographic. And I think like even when he's talking about this is something that also just applies to a poverty mentality. It's not just Black culture that suffers from these things that they're bringing up, the things that we're bringing up. It's more of a poverty mentality. But that idea of like when I go to a restaurant, now I'm in a position to make you wait on me. So I'm going to take advantage of that to the fullest. I'm going to complain about everything and make you get things a million times. It's like,
I want to get the most out of this.
Right.
Treat you like I've seen people treat people, the servers and the waitress, waiter, or whatever, like crap.
Right.
Yeah. I remember the Patrice O'Neal, one of my favorite comedians, made
I was going to bring this up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he made a joke one time, and he was trying to point out. He was really trying to explain, and he was so good at taking these analogies and bringing them to life. But what he was talking about, he was like, his mom is an overweight Black woman who works as a ticket stamper at the one of the train stations at New York. He said her life every day is pure crap. She gets hell from being there, from people, from her bosses. And he said, you know what I noticed about my mom? He said, you would think that she would be humbled and want to treat people better because people treat her so bad. He said, but no. My mom looked forward to the weekend to go to retail stores and give people exactly what she's been getting for 5 days.
Right.
So she was now in a position to wield a hammer, and that's exactly what she did.
Right.
Instead of saying, I've been treated like crap for 5 days, the next 2 days I'm going to treat people well. She went around looking to destroy people over the weekend because she did it. She was taking it for 5 days. And I think a lot of people approach life like that. Someone did it to them, so they want to do it to someone else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He also had the joke, remember where he was like, that was Patrice too, that was talking about like, if I need to get my cell phone, if I need to return something, I take a black chick to the store with me.
Right.
Because she gonna make sure I get my money back.
And you see, the thing is, over time, what has happened is these cultural things through movies and TV shows have been personified and been characterized. And unfortunately, it took root. So when people see this, these caricatures that we laughed and giggled at have become actual symbols of who we are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You look at Martin and Shanae, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? We laugh at that. But he's really doing a caricature.
Mm-hmm.
And so any Black girl that we run across with a name that's stereotypically Black, we're immediately going to put her in the position of ghetto loud and behaving a certain way. And sad to say, when they do, they live up to this stereotype. Because not all of them are like that. But when you go into a place and you run into that, you even hear it. Thank you, Shanae. Right. You'll see them doing that. You'll see people doing that kind of stuff. Because we laugh at this stuff and we giggle at it, but we don't understand that we actually create the monsters that we end up running from.
Jake just commented that's the oppressed becomes the oppressor mentality.
Yes.
And it's that same mentality that even in the music industry we see a lot, where it's like that concept of pay your dues, where it's like, because I was treated terribly.
Yeah.
Once I get in a position of power, now I got to treat who's below me terribly.
Sure.
That's what he was talking about with the songwriters.
Yeah.
So it's like, I remember when I was young coming in the game, they didn't let me make no decisions. They just told me do this and like it. So now it's your turn. You know?
Yeah.
And this goes, I'm sorry, can I just make this point real quick?
No, go ahead.
I was going to say this, right? That comes from, I think, us listening to the celebrity. That's the celebrity part right there, where J-Lo has, in her dressing room, there's 10 bunnies with 50 M&Ms can't be red and pink.
Right.
And she has to have a pink slippers. And everybody has to whisper when. So we take those little things, whether it's true or not. I'm just using
it is.
Right? Okay. So we take
Only
those.
green M&Ms.
We take those things. We take those things. And when we get to any kind of level of what we feel is success, we want to now implement that. Because that that quantifies our boss levelness.
Right.
So we want to be like, when I come into the office, everyone must bow down and worship me or whatever it is. And
no one look me in the eye. Was that the Steve Harvey thing? No one's allowed to look me in the eye.
Right. So we take those things, unfortunately, within our culture, and that stuff is put in songs.
Yeah.
That stuff is put in songs, so we get to hear it. We get to hear boss level up. I hate those stupid.
Yeah.
I saw a guy making wings. And he was like, "Yo, we doing big things. We're crushing the game out here." Like, shut up, man. You're making wings.
Chicken, bro.
Like, cut it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
chicken is delicious.
You're making wings, man. You know what I mean? But I get it. But it's like even all of that turns into like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's just over the top behavior. I remember specifically like when we're so, because we've noticed that so much in other people, we go out of our way to not be that.
Right.
Like and the thing is, people do appreciate that. So many times I've talked to promoters and like people that stage production managers, people that run the shows that we do, and they're like, "Man, you guys are so much easier to work with than a lot of like you guys." Like we, again, being of service, we'll go in and we're carrying. There's people in our position. They're like, I don't touch equipment. Yeah, it's not my job.
Right.
I don't pick up. I'm not picking up.
And that's
nothing.
such a terrible attitude to have.
The same thing with the rider. It's like our rider is so basic because I don't want to be the type of artist that's like, all right, what else can we put in there? All right, now we get to have this and we get to have that. You know, our rider is extremely basic. It's like, give us what we need and that's it. We don't want anything extra.
Yeah.
But that's way I can really hold them accountable. But like, if you don't have what we asked for, I'm only asking you for the bare minimum, bro.
Right.
Like,
and real quick, I know Courtney's watching.
Real quick though, with to piggyback off of what Jamie's saying, like we want to cultivate a culture, and we, I don't want to pat ourselves on the back or whatever. Like we live that. The way everybody in our crew that we travel with, in the band, they'll lift a speaker. They'll do things. And
they'll be the stagehands.
Yeah, and that's why we've
created that culture in our organization.
Right.
And people that come in and work with us, even the musicians, the new guy, anytime there's a new guy, they always say like, "Yo, y'all got something different here. This is different than anything else I've ever been in because we don't have the mentality is we're all in service to Freddie. Like we're all in service to whatever the job is. Even if it's a Jatan gig, like it is no." We're the star now and everybody has to do it. No, we're all in service to the main goal is to have a great show.
Yeah.
That's what we're in service to.
And to add to what you're saying too, like, I'm in the service business. There is actually pride in servitude.
Yeah.
Like, to know that you fulfilled and you did a job and that job is done and you did it well. You did it to your ability, up to your best ability. I mean, that's awesome.
It is.
It's such a good feeling that people miss out on that. And it's not necessarily to get pats on the back, but just that own in self-reflection to be like, I know that I gave this my all. There's nothing better than that.
Like when I cut people's hair too short, I know I gave it my all.
Because it was free 99.
And that's why I appreciate it. You know what I mean?
I just wanted to say real quick, I know Courtney's listening. She's a great example of having I hope you're listening. I hope she's still watching. But she's a great example of good service.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't know me the way she knows you guys. And I remember calling her and asking her. And she about bed and breakfast up in the Poconos. And she was so delightful and pleasant to talk to. And it was like, I could see why she's successful.
Yep.
And to me, it's like, that's
why
what I
people
want
love her.
That's why I want to connect to. I want to see what you do. And I think we have to look at people and say, listen, yeah, I know you're driving that nice car and all that stuff like that, but sometimes that's just an image.
Yeah.
But how are you living your life?
Right. Who are you as a person?
Who are you as a person?
What do you portray? Yeah.
Well,
are you a light or not? And we need to start honoring the people that are that,
Right.
I know for you, even like with the Mr. Build Right thing, all the struggles you've had.
Yeah.
Just for people to appreciate what you bring to the table as far as everything customer service wise, because they'll look at what you're charging and just be like,
right,
want to hook. And that's the other problem in the culture is like what they're talking about is true. Yes.
Sure.
But there are people that are willing to give customer service, but then there's this idea that they need to hook us up or they need to give us a discount
I've heard that
because
plenty of times.
we're brothers. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like,
Yeah.
but come on, brother, like hook me up, brother.
I've heard it.
It's like
I've heard it.
Well,
I've
wait,
heard
how
it.
come you don't think I deserve what?
And it's sad for me to say this as a black man. Some of the hardest issues and customers I've dealt with are people from my own community.
Yeah.
who expect my service at a very low cost. It's almost like I should be able to hook them up.
Yeah.
You know, and by the way, these are not poor people. The people I'm talking about actually are well-to-do upper middle class people.
Right.
These are not broke people, but they want you to give them that deal. And that's why I say, like, we cannot just blame the rappers.
You the same color.
We can't just blame the rappers. I know that they're the ones promoting it the loudest, but a lot of upper well-to-do people are very similar because they're one generation out of that mindset.
Yeah.
They just have the ability to leave that place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Speaking of rappers and speaking of that mindset, you sent me a clip that goes along with that same very, very same concept.
Yes.
Something that you saw before. Now, this is Rick Ross talking about a job that he was trying to get.
This is in the same vein of customer service, the value of someone, their time,
Right.
a business.
What you're willing to spend
what you're
money
willing
on.
to spend.
Yeah.
Well, Courtney said thank you, and Jake said, y'all talking about the fruit of the spirit.
Yeah, that's right. All right, Mom, bring this up, please. This is the boss, Rick Ross.
Glory, I'm up early this morning and I just got my estimate. I got like 10 trees I want to cut down. They say them big trees, them big oak trees, Rose. I say, I don't care. I want them cut down. Them fucking up this vibe right there. Nigga told me $1,000 a tree. For 10 trees, that's 10,000. Okay, I just told my homie, you go to Home Depot and you go get me the biggest motherfucking saw there is with a big chain and you crank that motherfucker up. I'ma cut the trees down. You heard me? Who the fuck I am. I'm hands-on. I cut down my own motherfucking trees. You can't charge the boss $1,000 a tree to cut it down. I cut down my own motherfucking trees. I gotta make room for my animals. I'm the biggest boss. Y'all ready to go cut these trees down? Thank you.
This guy, bro.
That's the biggest saw.
That's not even a big tree. Okay, we get the point. So he cut his own trees down.
Does it fall on him?
Hey. he
Now,
could
can you
have.
play the other clip?
Okay.
All right.
Now let's go to. All right, bring
And
it
then
down,
we'll
Mom.
discuss it.
Bring it down, Mom. First of all, I just want to say $1,000 per tree is not unreasonable.
I was just gonna say that.
No,
Because
Like-
they're gonna do it right. You know, pull the stump out.
But that price is not even expensive.
No, because I paid $1,200 7 years ago for my tree in the backyard.
Yeah. All right, now let's bring this up, Mom. So this is Rick Ross, and the title of this video, I just want to tell everybody, it says Rick Ross buys $20 million watch from shopping at Jacob and Company.
This is the billionaire. This is... From my perspective.
So yeah, you get the idea.
Get the idea.
So he's on the phone with, is that Jacob the jeweler? He's
Yes.
on the phone with
Mhm.
the guy that they all go to. Somehow he's convinced the entirety of hip hop culture that they all need to go to him, or else it's not a valid purchase.
Right.
So he's willing to spend $20 million on a watch, but won't support the local guys that are cutting down trees for $10,000. You know.
And that's what you and I were discussing, right? Like, you know, listen, he's entitled to do whatever he wants with his money.
Yeah.
But the message he's sending.
Exactly.
And what we're talking about, because I've had this discussion with my black friends about this.
Right.
As a business owner, what he just did there is make that business look like it was trying to rip him off.
Yes.
But what does it cost to rent or to own operate a business?
Yeah.
Insurance, tree climbers, stump pullers, grinders,
right?
Shredders, to dispose of that. What does it cost that business to operate per day?
Right.
And what he did by making that video, he made it. You heard him address a dude, this N or
Yeah.
whatever, right? I'm not going to say the word, but what he did was he just took a big dump on
Small
business for $10K, which is not unreasonable for 10 trees.
You got that money.
Right.
Listen,
But
he bought
this is the
$1
thing.
million watch.
To
20
me,
million.
to
20
me,
million.
20 million on the
I
watch,
didn't
right?
listen, but, oh my
And to me, this is the argument I've been having with my friends about this. This happened a few years ago, and I only brought this up and I sent it to Jamie because again, it's in the concept in the context what we're talking about.
What message does it
What
send?
message does it send?
Yeah.
Right? Now, the thing about this stuff is that what if one of his friends died or something happened tragic in there?
Yeah.
Then we want to have a chicken fry sale. Then we want to have a telethon, GoFundMe to bury them. And this is the kind of nonsense that
I will point out that we only saw him cut down one tree.
Right.
I
He just wanted to prove a point.
I guarantee you, he wanted social media content.
He wanted social media content.
I guarantee you, after he cut down that one tree, and he realized how much work that was
It
going to be.
probably fell the wrong way, destroyed that fence.
He called that company up and was like, all right, I got you.
Right.
Yeah.
But again, here you are pretending to be this boss and all this stuff like that. Now do
Right.
what you want with your money, but you don't know what it takes to run a business.
Yeah.
And you're basically taking a big dump on entrepreneurs. So for me, I didn't take it personal per se, but for me, I have no respect for people like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you didn't explain that. It's not like he showed the estimate and the
Mhm.
guy said, hey, it was 10,000. And the next day the guy's like, it's really going to be 20. I would side with you on that.
Right.
I would say, okay, that's wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But this is the problem with quote unquote black businesses right here is we're willing to do this to prove a point. But what is the point?
Right.
What are you really trying to do? You do more damage for the service business when you do stuff like that.
Yeah, and also it's like, okay, what is worth it more? Like to support a black-owned business? I mean, we don't know. This may not have been a black-owned business, but let's say it was. To support, we always talk about black-owned businesses and building our own wealth and our own economics, but you'd rather go to Jacob the jeweler
who's not black.
and drop 20 million
Right.
on something that literally has no point.
Right.
Then build value in the community and build up and give that type of funding to whatever. You know what I mean? It just shows the mentality and what the culture promotes.
Right.
And that's
He
what
was
we're
willing
talking
to
about.
tear that guy down because, like you said, what's the likelihood of him cutting that one tree
Right.
and he messed it up and he ended up calling that company, but he doesn't.
He
He doesn't go back and say,
Right.
"Listen, I was wrong. I messed up.
Yeah.
And this is a lot harder than I thought." Because he's gonna have to eat crow. I had to end up calling him to cut the 9 trees.
Yeah.
He ain't gonna do that.
Nope.
You know what I mean?
And he ain't gonna show that.
Right.
The whole thing's not real.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. He could have
probably
never
still
even
paid
got a
him.
quote. He could have never even got a. Yeah, he probably did get the quote, and he
Right.
probably paid them, but he needed social media content. But what that content does is what James is saying.
Yeah.
It makes it look like
Business
these
out to get 'em.
businesses are out to get you, and that we do have that mentality of like. And again, that's a poverty mentality where it's like you ain't gonna get over on
That's
me.
an excellent point. That's an excellent point you just made right there. He has all these millions, but he
Yeah.
still has the poverty mentality.
Right.
He
Yeah.
still has 10 grand is gonna hurt him.
Yeah, you're not gonna get over on me. No one gonna get one over on
He
me.
still has it.
I'm the boss.
So to me, that was essentially my argument with the group, with the guys. It was like, he ain't really a boss. Now I know he has money, he has millions of dollars, but he's not really what he's telling y'all he is.
Right, and that's the disconnect from how these other communities that they always point out, but they do it, but they don't understand that mentality where it's like they don't think in that way where it's like I gotta stop you from getting over on me. They think in the way where it's like
Right.
I gotta. How much do you charge? I'll give you 10,000
You
more.
will
than
never
that.
see Bon Jovi making a live. Listen, guys, I got a ridiculous quote for 20 grand to clean my koi pond.
Yeah.
I'm going down to
With a
Bud's Pool
squeegee.
Supply. I'm getting some stones.
Yeah.
Yo, Ace, go get them.
Right.
Come on, man, cut it out. But that to me is like, again, this boss level up, all that stuff is nonsense.
Yeah.
It's nonsense.
Yep.
You know.
And then you sent me this clip of from I think this was from like a year ago. Jay-Z talking about, and this resurfaced recently because I think people were, I don't know, like it ended up going viral on TikTok. I think,
right,
where he's talking about one of his family members asking him for $4,800 to
Yeah.
start a business or whatever. So I'll play this real quick. It's just a quick clip.
And how money can come between friends. You know, we haven't had money for a long time, so we don't know how to.
What is Jay-Z's hair? I just gotta nowadays. Like, what is his hair?
The Cam Newton.
Nah, it's the Basquiat.
Boy.
It's the Basquiat.
James' favorite football player, Cam Newton.
Cam Newton probably did inspire this.
Fashion was at navigating how to communicate from that space.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like you'll have people that where you come from, if you behave in a certain manner, it's not accustomed to where they are, right? Some people haven't evolved past 16. They still stuck in that place, but you evolving every year.
Mm-hmm.
So that may be a threat to them. Subconsciously or consciously, Kev acting funny because blah, blah, blah. You have to navigate that.
Mm-hmm.
You have cousins. You got to go home for Thanksgiving and people are talking to you like Kevin Hart. And you going home for solace. You want family.
You're going home for peace of mind.
You're going home for peace of mind.
And they don't give you that
and your
because
cousin
you're not
your cousins in your grandma's living room saying, yo, man, I got this play. I want to, if you just give me, you know what I mean? 4,800, I could make you 2 million. You like, it don't work like that, fam. But you got to explain to him, like, life isn't like that.
Yeah. So that's the clip that kind of resurfaced, went viral again, and people were kind of coming at Jay-Z like, "Yo, just give your cousin 4,800. Like, what's that to you?"
Right,
you know what I mean?
And it was like a back and forth with people who were like, "Yeah, this happens" and stuff like people asking for money, and that's his money. And I took this understanding from it. You know what's sad about black celebrities in this way is that they'll talk about what happens with family in terms of asking for money, right? But they also ask you to go buy all their crappy alcohol, their shoes, support. Right. His wife is charging $1,000 a ticket. Right. No big deal there. Right. When he comes out with whatever product he's pushing to the community, you know, and it's like
they ask you for support on everything.
They're asking you for support on everything.
Right.
Who did they come to?
Who funded your whole career?
Exactly.
You know?
Right? So next time you come, right? So we should say to rappers or singers or those entertainers, come up with a Grammy plan. Give me a Grammy plan. I need to see numbers in these charts before I come to your crappy concert. You and your cousin gonna be rapping at.
Submit a resume. No, submit a I want to see an itinerary of what your concert's gonna be before
let me see that. Let me see the revenue.
I want to see
what's the billing ticket and
how
stuff
many
like that.
fireworks are gonna be in the first set. Like I need to see all this. How many costume changes?
I need to see that before I support. And it's like we're the only ones that do that because basically what they're saying is don't ask me for no money. Money. That's what they're saying, right? But then we'll turn around and hawk their crappy product to you.
Right.
Come buy this hat
for the culture.
For the culture. Come buy this hat that we know cost you $2, but you're charging $150 because your name is on it, or $200. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like this type of mindset, like people don't realize that this sticks with people. So people who admire this is going to be like, yeah, that's right. Don't ask me nothing at Thanksgiving. Right? Don't ask me for nothing at Thanksgiving or nothing like that. And I'm not saying you should run up and just start asking me for money. Yeah. But basically what this means is they're basically saying we have money, don't come bother us.
Right.
But we want to tell you, we want to see.
We can bother you every chance.
We can bother you all the time.
Right.
I see all the commercial with Kevin Hart's, bet 5,000, come to this. I see all. So then don't sell me your product.
Movie. Come to my new movie. You ain't coming to my new movie. Yeah, I get it, man.
You know, so like we need to stop this stuff. You know what I mean? It to me, when I look at this, I'm like saying to myself, they're getting rich off of the culture and the community, but they don't really want to give back.
Right.
They really don't. You know?
Why am I hearing somebody's phone or something?
I think that's him talking.
Oh. Yeah. So you sent me this other clip of it went viral a few years ago of the restaurant owner checking those people for twerking in his restaurant. Let's play this real quick.
This building into developing this concept so black people can have somewhere nice to go to, okay? Somewhere where we can feel good about ourselves as a, come on, stop the music, please. Somewhere where our people can feel good about ourselves as a culture, okay? Yeah. No, real talk. And so all this twerking and shit, take it to Prime, take it to Pink, don't bring it here because we're a restaurant. And so beyond that, 75% of my customers are ladies. And I want men to show respect for themselves for how they carry themselves here. So how can I tell the men to respect themselves and you guys are talking on glass here? If you want to do it, get the fuck out my restaurant. Because I did it for our people and I did it for our culture. So don't do it now. Don't do it again. I don't want to hear it. If you don't like it, get out because I don't need your money. I need to provide something for my people. And don't do it again. Thank you.
No, I don't agree with him cursing at them
Doing
like
it
that.
like that,
I don't
yeah.
agree with that. But I also understand his
The
frustration.
sentiment, yeah.
His frustration.
Because they were getting up on tables and twerking in the middle of his
Right.
restaurant. But maybe don't have a DJ.
And that speaks that's part of it too, because even though I played that, I'm not saying that he's right necessarily. Yeah. I understand what he's saying, but like you said, you're promoting a certain thing.
Yeah.
You're drawing a certain attention.
Right.
You have to accept what comes with that.
Mm-hmm.
You're creating an atmosphere for that. I told you. I remember DJing and loving this DJ nightlife, and I remember being at a mansion DJing, and I look up and there was two guys making out in front of me, and I was shocked. But who's playing the music?
Right,
me.
Who's creating the atmosphere?
Right.
He was playing. What were we playing? House music.
I was.
Yeah.
Love some house music.
Yeah, yeah.
But like I said, I had to look. I have to look inward.
Well, according to Beyonce, the gays made house. They're the ones that invented it.
Right.
Yeah, man. But that's a valid point. Like sometimes you have to do that reflection. Like, all right, how am I contributing to this? What's going on right now that I don't agree with? I'm contributing to this in a certain way. We had to come to that realization with our music. You know.
Yeah.
And change a lot of the things that we did in that way.
And, just in general with the whole business thing, I remember having discussion with a friend of mine about business. And I was like, listen, when you speak to customers, when you're speaking to someone, they want to be reassured that they made the right choice and that they're going to get the service that they paid for. Now, not everybody's like that, but for the most part, if they approach you in a certain way, there's a way to de-escalate it. But you giving them a piece of your mind because they approach you sideways, as we call it, right? You just escalated way further than it needed to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
I know you feel like the need to win, and that's part of the problem with the quote-unquote culture is the need to win. And that comes with the boss level up, all of that. That comes with that because we feel that that's what
I don't take no mess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We feel that that's what a boss should do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's not just black culture. That's why Donald Trump was a part of that. You're fired. All of that. All of that comes from. All of that is just part of American. We want to see people. We want to see destruction.
Yeah.
So we have to really look inward and say, hey, listen, maybe this stuff is affecting us in a certain way. That how are we going to pull ourselves out of this? It's by really looking at service and looking at ourselves within it. How could we be better at serving people, and in turn, you move up the ladder. You gain success.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's definitely something that we need to deal with in the culture. It's definitely something we need to talk about more, and we need to hold each other accountable. We need to hold ourselves accountable to, like, what are we promoting? What are we glorifying? I want to show this a couple more videos before we wrap up. I got this one from. This is from Oregon's Education Department, Department of Education. We were talking about these leftist policies. We're talking about these cities. We're talking about the way they're running things and how they're running things to the ground, what the president of El Salvador was talking about. And this is one of those things that just, like, makes me so mad.
For the next 5 years, high school students in Oregon will not need to perform proficiency tests showing mastery of reading, writing, or math in order to graduate. And this comes as the Oregon Board of Education unanimously voted to extend a pause on the graduation requirement yesterday until 2028. They're citing inefficiency and inequity. Joelle Jones going beyond the headlines tonight to find out what this pause will mean for students.
This is a controversial decision and one that's facing a lot of pushback. While some say the decision will lower state standards and cheapen an Oregon diploma, the Oregon Department of Education tells me this policy simply didn't work and disproportionately harmed students of color.
So they totally are eliminating the need to be proficient in math, writing, reading, all
5 years.
For 5 years.
Wow.
Graduate high school.
Graduate high school without showing any proficiency. What do you think that's going to do to the students there?
Mass incarceration.
Yeah. And they're doing it in the name of inequity. These blacks don't need to prove themselves, guys. We're making it too hard for them. Like, come on, man. That is such what is the bigotry of low expectations? We've talked about that on here before, where it's like they can't do it, guys. We have to do this for them. We have to help them because they just can't do it. You know, it's just
They're
like
not smart.
Exactly. Yeah. Like that bothered me a lot.
Wow, that is very sad.
Yeah. So move to Oregon if you want to.
The only way that can happen, is with students is if they're coming from broken homes, because there's no way a two-parent home with a father and mother would allow that.
Yeah. Yeah.
They know the situation. They know where to put those policies.
Yeah.
Where people are busy, where people are either working, don't have the time, where kids are just an added bonus in life, and they know that these people aren't going to check and follow up.
And they have the culture in Oregon is totally woke. It's completely woke. So it's like, if they can, like we were just talking about Soros funding. So who do you think's getting voted in the Department of Education to pass all of these requirements to make it so that they care more about equity, you know, than students actually being able to read and write, you know.
And this is what we were talking about before when we had these conversations about, hey, if you want these things to change, don't wait every 4 years. You should go to your local municipal meetings, because those things are listed there. Those things are there, and you can push back. You know, but if you don't, then you don't know. Those things get passed, and you're locked in.
Yep.
You know, and unfortunately, even if your child, let's say, was struggling a little bit, now your child is a victim of these policies.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep. All right, we got one more video to show here. This one is gonna kind of show people what's going on with aluminum foil.
Oh Lord.
I just used it today.
You'll find aluminum foil in one of the drawers. It's a pretty common kitchen staple that's used for cooking, wrapping, even to treat certain common ailments. People have been using aluminum foil for years, often on a daily basis. What you might not know is that a recent study has found that there are things about this kitchen staple that you don't know, and you need to. Doctors are warning that you should probably stop using aluminum foil right away. Aluminum is a neurotoxic-rich material. It can have serious side effects on the function of your brain. It's also been associated with Alzheimer's disease. Many doctors believe that exposure to this heavy metal can cause adverse effects that can last a long time. A few issues that are caused by this metal include loss of balance, memory issues, lack of coordination, loss of bodily control, and mental decline. Researchers have also found that when you cook with aluminum foil, it can have an effect on your bones. Aluminum can build up in your bones when you use it for cooking, and that can take the place of calcium in your bones, reducing your bone strength. In time, frequent use of aluminum foil could cause your bones to break more easily. It's not just the brain and the bones that can be affected by cooking with aluminum foil either. Studies have shown that its use has been linked to pulmonary fibrosis as well. The study also showed that if you inhale aluminum particles, it can result in respiratory problems. And that often occurs when you grill using aluminum foil. If you cook with aluminum foil at very high temperatures, part of the metal can be emitted into the food, making it unsafe to eat. A chemical engineer researcher at the American University of Sharjah, Dr. Essam Zubaidi, evaluated the effects of aluminum and cooking, and his study found that when you cook one meal in aluminum foil, it can introduce up to 400 milligrams of aluminum into your food. According to the World Health Organization, the recommended daily allowance of aluminum is limited to only 60 milligrams a day. Since you can get 400 milligrams introduced in your food when you use it to cook in just one meal, you can see how dangerous this really is.
I don't trust
Furthermore, the higher the temperature, the more leaching occurs, and the more dangerous your food becomes. The doctor also found that while cooking with foil is a bad idea, it's even worse when you use it to cook vegetables like tomatoes, citrus juices, or spices. Unlike vitamins, minerals, and iron, our bodies don't need aluminum. Also, our body is not able to process it correctly. Since your body can't process aluminum, You wonder what happens to it after it's ingested? Studies have shown that it
someone's
accumulates in your
cell phone
brain,
notification.
lungs, kidney, liver, and even your thyroid, and that can put your health in great jeopardy. Aluminum can damage your central nervous system as well. Even worse, aluminum has been linked to autism in children. When children are exposed to aluminum in their drinking water, it can cause bone, brain, and kidney disease. Research has shown that aluminum can cause toxic stress on your brain. If your brain stores too much aluminum, it can result in MS, epilepsy, ADD, Alzheimer's, chronic fatigue syndrome, and other serious neurological disorders.
Okay, we get it. So, aluminum is terrible, apparently.
Listen, what university? Jaja University. And that guy.
Yeah. Well, these are all. This clip was made with all like stock videos,
right.
you know. But yeah, and the WHO information. You're saying you don't trust the WHO, but the WHO was not involved in this. He was just saying that the WHO says that the amount of aluminum that you can safely take in a day is 60 milligrams, and when you cook with aluminum, it can add up to 400 milligrams. Yeah,
I've been cooking with aluminum foil forever.
Yeah, but don't you, when you bake something, you put aluminum over it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. But that doesn't, just because we've been doing it forever, it doesn't mean it's safe. We find that out all the time about things.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I'm saying, how do you cover your stuff? Like metal? I don't know.
Glass. I've heard glass is...
Aluminum foil has only been in existence since what?
I've actually heard a big thing that we're doing that's really bad is heating up food in plastic.
Yeah.
Plastic, yeah.
You know, like reheating food in plastics. Like, we got to cut that out.
Even drinking stuff
Water,
in plastic.
Yeah.
Or microwaving food.
Yeah.
Yeah, microwaving food. I've heard that.
Aluminum foil first was commercially available in 1913. Yeah, it used to be tin foil before that. So, yeah, I mean, think about, isn't like the most of the cans that vegetables are canned in?
Yeah. Aluminum cans.
Soda is in aluminum cans. Mm-hmm. All that stuff. I know that they talk about the aluminum that's in deodorant and stuff like that is harmful for you. So if that's harmful, why would we put our food in it? Why would we cook our food in? Why would we heat it up? You know, people wrap their stuff in aluminum and cook it on the grill all the time. Mm-hmm.
I do.
You don't think about that, but it probably is not good to do that. So
what do we do?
Cook without it. Don't use it.
I like to do more research.
I'm not willing to give up my aluminum.
Yeah.
My aluminium.
Yeah, he doesn't want to give it up.
As the British have said.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, there's so much, man, that I'm sure like we consume where it's just part of our daily that we don't think about, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, think about it. How long have we thought that canola oil and all of these oils were safe to use?
I used to use canola all the time.
Yeah, for probably 3 decades, we thought that was better for you than lard.
And that has a lot to do with education too, because when you think about like what you're saying there, the reason a lot of this stuff takes so much time is non-disclosure agreement with companies, right? But also too, education.
Yeah.
You know, we're never really going to learn how these corporations and how these things work, like
how they came to be.
How they came to be.
A lot of them are offsets from other factory byproducts that they wanted to figure out other ways to monetize, like margarine.
I remember growing up in Trinidad, I remember when they did the public announcement and they send it out in the newspaper, however they paid for it, obviously.
Yeah.
As far as like
Soros.
This was in the 90s.
He was around.
He could be. Yeah. That coconut oil caused cholesterol. Lard was bad.
Yeah. All the things that are great now that they tell you should use. They
Coffee. They said coffee wasn't good for you.
Yeah. Ain't that crazy? Eggs were bad for the longest.
No, they said the yolks were bad.
Yolks were bad.
Butter
was bad.
But coconut oil was a big one because in the Caribbean and like tropical countries, coconut oil is huge.
So easy to come by.
It's easy to come by. It's a big thing.
Yeah.
We don't have olive oil. I wasn't introduced to olive oil until I came here. So
real olive oil is good for you. But
Right.
a lot of the olive oils that we get here, especially the cheap
And the green plastic
yeah,
mixes
those
many
are
similar-
it's mixed with canola oil or grapeseed oil. Yeah, so
And it makes sense. I mean, listen, you know, there's a certain amount of things that can be consumed, but it's like if it's mixed with something or whatever it is. Studies have shown this may cause this. When you really read into it, you know, but who has that kind of time?
no one does. That's why it's like, just think about it naturally, because like even now we're saying, well, I use aluminum foil all the time, so I don't. But is that normal to wrap your food in a sheet of metal, like a sheet of like, you know, metal that's been factory made? You know what I mean? To cook your food and that stuff, like that's not normal.
And you know, so pasteles, right?
Yeah.
Well, we have the same thing in Trinidad.
Yeah.
But all of our stuff that is made like is all made with banana leaves.
Yeah.
But that's looked upon
primitive.
It's primitive.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's
Yeah.
just the way it is.
Right.
No one's gonna eat like I don't love pasteles by the way. But I'm just saying like that's part of the culture. Like even cooking on you know, on a grill or something like that. Because
you guys used to cook on a fireside.
On a fireside,
We don't think about those things because they just become so normal in our culture. But like I'm saying, like I'm bringing that up because a lot of things that we just took for granted as normal, we got to start rethinking. Like, is it worth it? Is this playing a factor in? Look at the low T levels that we're dealing with. Look at all of the Alzheimer's that is crazy right now. They were showing how this is linked to Alzheimer's. Look at all the dementia that's through the roof. All of the issues that people are having with their nervous systems, with multiple sclerosis. Like, it has to have something to do with all of the things that we've implemented to make our lives more convenient over the last.
We're
40
living longer,
years.
but we're living longer. I saw something that said we're living longer, but we have way more diseases.
Yeah.
And we're being affected by it.
We're living longer through pharmaceuticals.
Pharmaceuticals, yes.
Yeah. So it's not a quality of life that you know.
You know, I watched a movie with Sophia, my daughter, a little while back. It was called WALL-E.
Yeah.
And it's actually a pretty
great movie. WALL-E is a deep movie.
It's actually a pretty deep movie.
Yeah, we talk about it all the time.
Yeah, I was
WALL-E
like, yo,
is a
this is
deep
actually
movie.
pretty cool.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, and it's interesting how they show how the conveniences of life just turn humans into these like immovable blobs.
Yeah,
that can't do anything because they
the
don't
robots.
use-
The robots made a world.
Yeah.
They want to take us back to Earth.
Right. Yo, it's a very interesting movie.
It is
Well,
interesting.
going back to aluminum, all the pots that they made in the past, they're bad for you.
Yeah.
Teflon,
all
Teflon.
these, right? The good ones are cast iron.
Exactly.
You know, like
Yeah, they say if it starts to scrape off, which upstairs, and I don't know if Jamie I think he got rid of it.
Yeah.
I think it was scraped to heck.
Yeah.
But yeah, all that stuff. Like, but it comes out of our insatiable appetite to consume. This pan, slice it dices, it cooks. We fall for it.
The infomercial where they're sliding the eggs around, like the eggs don't stick at all.
And she's like, it does that? Yes, Kathy.
Yeah.
It does other things. She never knows what's going on.
Right. Wow. Yeah. Kathy don't even know how to cook. She's like, yeah. But yeah, I mean, we gotta be mindful of these things, man. Like, we were told, how many things were we told were good for us that we've come to find out are not,
Right.
so, or we're perfectly fine to use, and we won't find out till probably years later some of the things that we're doing now. Who knows what Wi-Fi is doing to us? You know what I'm saying? Who knows what Bluetooth? We're all wearing Bluetooth headsets.
I tell you what, man, like by holding this and doing this, like I feel like my hand feels tight sometimes.
Yeah.
And it never. You guys remember when I was
Carpal tunnel.
I was anti smartphone, and I had my little flip phone.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
I never was on that, and now I'm like
addicted. Yeah.
I try to put it, like I said, I'm in a new field now, so I don't even look at it. You know what I mean? I try to,
Yeah, I mean, but it's hard. I mean, it's such an important tool now. It's just a matter of using it for what it, for its advantages. But all right, man, let's wrap it up there, guys. listen, do we got any more comments to read before we wrap it up? Nope. All right, man. Thank you guys for watching. We appreciate you guys who stuck it in with us the whole time. Shout out to all the Patreon members who are still watching, who are in the chat. Shout out to Paul. We will see you on Friday night. But yeah, don't forget, if you want to become a member, you want to support the Pride, go to patreon.com/youngliontv and help these conversations keep happening so that we can change culture. We can, change the mindsets of the youth by letting them see conversations like this from men who have experienced a lot of different things, and, just trying to let people learn from our mistakes and also tell people about God and how great it is to have God in our lives and how he's changed so much. But yeah, patreon.com/youngliontv. Also hit the like button and hit that notification bell. Subscribe to the channels. Rumble us. Shout out to if you're watching on Twitch, Twitter, all that stuff, or X. It's X now. Thank you guys for being here tonight. Appreciate the conversation. This was a good conversation.
I don't like it.
You don't like
calling
X?
him X.
Yeah, it's weird. Thank you, Mom, for producing. Don't forget to get the merch at the merch store if you see it in the description. And that's it. Yeah, see you guys next week, man. Peace.
Young lion, go live, yeah. Young lion, you rich, yeah. This kingdom has room, yeah. Go and fight people in.